And then...
World Wide Web, I'm Dr. Shado, the internet personality that's there, and welcome to Live and Wired, episode 20, the one with no name. And joining, as always, that long-haired creepy guy.
Yo!
And we shall all hold our hands and pray that Patricia comes soon. Because we know what's going to happen if she doesn't. This is not going to end well.
When an atheist calls for a word of prayer, you know shit's about to get fucked up. So the second episode where Patricia is not here to help me rein Decker in. I am doing this all.
She might be coming. It's just things are... okay, I got a message from her. She says she'll be right there. Computer froze. But the march of time waits for no one.
Hallelujah.
Cameron Kofoid is saying, creepy, happy to see you.
Hello.
Jason Coop is asking if I can review the Alamo 2004. And it's not on my docket, so I'm thinking about that. Like, I needed to look up what that is.
I'm imagining the Alamo re-envisioned as a sci-fi war epic.
Epic Jason X9000 says, I want the next live stream to be called Decker and the Butt Dumplings. And I'm thinking, that's not exactly right. Shouldn't it be Creepy Patricia and Butt Dumpling?
I'm more in favor of the latter.
Okay. So Nick Hannah's like, let the rage commence.
Hey guys, sorry I'm late.
Oh, we were already just freaking out for the minutes there.
I was only gone for 2 minutes. My computer froze on me. I'm sorry.
Well, we're absolutely positive that this episode is going to go to hell.
Yeah.
Well, don't worry.
Decker called for a word of prayer, believe it or not.
He did.
This is how dire things were looking, and we were like 2 minutes in.
Well, I thank you very much for that.
Nelia Harrison says, please say my name, Daddy Decker. And I hope I got that right. Patrick Johnson's like, jump scare Patricia.
Sorry, guys. Sorry about
also,
that.
Decker, someone, please say my name, Daddy Decker. What have you been up to?
I don't know. I got in my car. I got real pissed off. The camera was there. And evidently, people are scared of me now.
Oh, really?
Did you see that episode, Patricia?
You mean that glorious rant in which you talked positively about the movie for 5 minutes and then you just yelled your head off for 25? Yeah, I saw it.
Yeah, that one. It's fun. It was cathartic. It's just, you got to let it out sometimes. And I didn't have enough time. I had just watched the movie. I didn't have enough time to let it just slowly go out where I can just calmly talk about this. I had words to say.
Yes, I can tell that you had words to say.
You talk calmly about subjects, Decker? Like, that implies that you've done so in the past.
You see, that's not the point. The point is, it doesn't matter if I have evidence. The point is the capabilities.
Yes. Well, anyway, I guess that we can be able to go over to some news. I guess I'm going to pull out one more thing from The Predator right before that. Maybe we'll talk about it. I know. Just please let me talk about it. Now, I know that you were mentioning about like the cut content, like the female predators and all that stuff. Well, I did find one more, and it's pretty scummy, like really, really scummy.
Yeah, I think I was being told about this last night on my gaming channel. Like, well, not on my gaming channel because I'm not allowed to live stream there until the end of November, but on my Twitch.
Oh, okay.
I believe I was being told about partly why Olivia Munn, for the first half of the movie, a lot of her is just her looking confused and saying nothing, because a lot of her scenes evidently involved another actor that did some pretty bad shit and they got cut from the movie.
Yeah, so let me clarify for those who don't know what it is. So 20th Century Fox pulls scene from The Predator after director Shane Black casted his friend, a registered sex offender.
Yep, that's the one. That's
lovely.
Right there.
Absolutely just phenomenal. Anyway, let me just get rid of this ad. There we go.
Real quick, just throwing this out there. Is it just me, or is that happening a lot lately.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, damn. Ugh. Yeah.
Patrick Johnson saying, and this is why you screen your actors, kids.
Yes. Okay. I'm
Nick
just
Hanna
gonna
is asking why I can't live stream on my gaming channel until November. According to YouTube, it's because I upload pornography.
Yes.
So I got a strike for that, and I told them Sakura Santa Part 1 is not pornography, and they said, yes, it is. And that's where we are. I gotta wait till the end of November before I can live stream there again.
Mm-hmm. Okay, let me just quickly read through this, because if I read it, I mean, if Decker reads it, I'm sorry. If Decker reads it, he's going to have an aneurysm.
There's going to be nothing but screaming for the rest of the episode.
Yes, pretty much so. Oh, Luke1234 gave us a $2 comment saying, when are you going to review the RoboCop franchise?
I hope to sooner rather than later. I do have them, like, on hand. I gotta rip them. It's right there. It's something I can do. I don't have to spend money on buying another Blu-ray because it's one I already own. So do it.
Cool.
What's taking so long?
Yeah. Well, don't worry. I mean, first when he gets through Halloween, I'm sure that he'll be able to, go through all the rest of the stuff that you guys have been requesting. So let me just read this really quick. 20th Century Fox was just. Oh, hold on. Let me pause this. I can't pause it. All right, I'm just going to read through this. So 20th Century Fox was just days away from locking picture on The Predator when an urgent note came in. Delete the scene featuring Stephen Wilder Striegel, I don't know. He didn't have a big role with his longtime friend Shane Black's reboot on the sci-fi thriller, just a 3-page scene shared with actress Olivia Munn. But last month, Munn learned that Striegel, whatever, is a registered sex offender who pleaded guilty in 2010 after facing allegations when he attempted to lure a 14-year-old female into a sexual relationship via the internet. When Munn shared the information with Fox on August 15th, studio executives quickly decided to excise him from the movie. Our studio was not aware of Mr. Striegel's background when he was hired. A Fox spokesperson said in a statement to The Times, "We're not aware of his background during the casting process due to legal limitations that impede studios from running background checks on actors."
Wow. I gotta get a background check to work at Taco Bell.
Yes. So
you can be in a movie if you're a registered sex offender, but you can't get a job working at Taco Bell.
Yeah, seriously. Okay. Black, however, has always known.
Scott Yoshihara says, to quote Chris Hansen, have a seat.
Let's see. We got a $2 comment from 123784444 Games saying, I got a strike for replying to this tweet about it.
I believe that's in reference to me getting that strike on my gaming channel.
Oh, okay. Gotcha. Uh-huh. Okay, so anyway, Striegel, an actor who had appeared on Days of Our Lives and Melrose Place, first met Black when he was invited to the Lethal Weapon screenwriter's home by a mutual friend for pizza and a movie when Wilder was arrested in 2009. The two have been friends for 5 years. I personally chose to help a friend. I can understand others might disapprove, as his conviction was on a sensitive charge and not to be taken lightly.
Sensitive one.
Really? Not to be taken lightly. I had... What? My God. Okay.
You're starting to sound like me, Patricia.
I'm just fuck, man. Okay, we have a $2 comment from Starbuck Addict 239 who says, "You guys rock. Can you do Final Destination?"
Like all of us?
That would be cool.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah,
I'm a little afraid because I feel like I'm still scared of driving, and I did a lot of that today. In case you didn't notice, I got my computer in the new place. So I got the desk and the microphone and the headset and the multiple monitors. I feel professional.
And you have a background now.
Yes.
Yeah. Not just a plain wall.
How many Final Destination movies are there? Because are there 5 or 6 or?
I think they're 6.
Okay.
Epic Jason X9000 saying, "Let the hate flow through you."
Yes. Okay, let's finish this. I never want to talk about. I don't want to talk about any more of this because trust me, as somebody, as you guys know, I've been delving into a lot of Nickelodeon stuff and hearing about Chris Savino and John Cristofalusi. I've been hearing a lot about this a lot lately, so I'm not happy to know that. this is being spread around a lot more with the whole Harvey Weinstein thing, and we'll get to an article about that later. And just okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. He served 6 months in jail after pleading guilty for 2 felonies. The first role he landed after his release was in Iron Man 3. 3 years later, he got another part in one of the filmmaker's projects, The Crime Caper, The Nice Guys. In 2016, Black told GQ that he was planning to produce a heist film by my friend Steve Wilder. Black defended his decision to cast Striegel in a small part in The Predator as a jogger who repeatedly hits on Munn's character. Oh, no.
Is this not unlike maybe just sort of casting Jared Fogle as a daycare?
Yes. Ugh. Oh my god. Okay. You know what? I can't read this anymore. I'm done. I'm sorry. I can't. This is just
oopsie, it slipped my mind, and then there's I cast you as a creeper.
Anyway, we got a $5 Donkey Kong coins comment from
$50 Donkey Kong coins.
From Colonel Scramel, who says, Live and Wired, episode 21, Patricia and Decker have an aneurysm over more shite remakes over great movie franchises.
And I'm just sitting back here all chill, like, yeah, okay, this happened.
No, don't worry, John Ratzi. I'm not going to kill Decker. Why would I kill Decker? He wasn't the one who was cast to hit on Olivia Munn.
Yeah. And then there's I mean,
I would, but I wouldn't do the other things before it. So I think I'll be in a slightly better position.
It's kind of hard. It's kind of hard not to be in a better position than that. I mean, you have to work at it to be, I feel like, or else just be really, really stupid and unlucky.
Yeah.
Oh, God. There's a little better movie news out there.
Yes, much better. And luckily, because, Predator is already out in theaters, we never have to talk about it again. Unless there's something on the DVDs or Blu-rays or whatever.
It's going to continue to haunt me. I'm just like, how hard is it to make a good Predator movie? Because, I know Predators didn't go over too great, but I said in my review of that years ago that I felt like the problem was it relied too much on paying homage and seemed afraid of being its own thing. And when it was its own thing, it did a really good job at it.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like...
we made it its own thing and we screwed it up.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like from everything from there's a helicopter over there. Let's say get to the chopper, even though it's not necessarily imperative at this very moment. And there are many other routes he can take, and no one's really coming right for us right now. But get to the chopper, because that's what you say in a Predator movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about something else because.
What about that little Instagram that I sent you?
Yes. Now, let's talk about something good. So, let me just pull it up real quick. It's from courtesy of Matthew Heitschu on Instagram. So, let me just close this right here. So, Matthew went over to a convention where the Kyoto brothers and composer John Massari were at a panel discussion. News was revealed that there is now renewed by the studio to make a sequel or a remake to Killer Klowns from Outer Space. And, there's also a comment that says, there's a petition for a sequel to be sent to MGM. You should sign it. Link to my bio. Yes,
I did hear a bit about the petition. I didn't get the link myself. I was going to put that in the description. I'm very bad at my job.
That's okay. I'll see if I can find it while, you guys talk about it.
But yeah, there's some news floating around, some rumors here and there. Can't be certain as to exactly how on the spot or everything, but there's a lot of talk about Killer Klowns. A lot of things talking about being able sequel or remake. That's pretty nice. I would prefer a sequel personally.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Because I feel like it's been so long since the Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
It's been 30 years.
You could have a sequel to Killer Klowns from Outer Space, and it would effectively be like the kinds of sequels that movies do where they, like the new Halloween movie, where they just delete most of the movies except for the first one. and they say, okay, here's a new movie that's still tied, but forget all the other stuff we fucked up in the timeline. It's a sequel, but it's like that. It would be sort of like that, except it wouldn't have to go back and rip anything apart. The original would still be there. This would continue it. A remake, you kind of fight against the original. The original is a pretty damn awesome fucking movie. So I don't know about fighting against it. Building on it would be nice.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, if you are interested, I actually did find the petition. So here it is. The petition for a Killer Klowns from Outer Space sequels, and they're looking for 10,000 signatures, and so far we have 50.
Well,
so yes, so
let's
everybody
hope
who's interested.
That it's also high in MGM's mind. Like, this is an idea we would like to pursue already.
Well, I mean, there have been. I mean, you don't forget that Universal Studios, the Halloween exhibits, that the ones that they have like all the movie characters and such, they're having a Killer Klowns from Outer Space section over there. So we did talk about that a while ago. So who knows? I mean, a combination of that with the fact that they're going on tour, maybe it could generate people to wanting to see more Killer Klowns from Outer Space.
Annabelle Lee says they signed that petition.
Oh, cool.
Awesome.
Yes, absolutely. So thank you very much. We have a question from Brian Solano, who said, question for all three of you. If you were an anime hero / villain, what would be your powers?
X-ray vision that only works on clothing.
Great. He's going to be the anime pervert like Master Roshi. Okay. How about you, Creepy?
Tetsuo.
Tetsuo! Yes!
Damn.
Love it.
So in the meantime, I'm going to be looking through all the blouses and stuff, and the whole freaking world is just going to be annihilated and remade.
Well, don't worry, Decker. Everybody knows that anime perverts are like strong, and they're the mentors of the protagonist.
At least,
so I think you'll be okay.
At least as I'm being sucked into the black hole to be annihilated, I'll be there with a nose bleeding and panties in my hand, like ah.
There you go.
And then everything will fade to black, and you will hear Boku no. Stop.
Oh, that's really tough for me. I mean, I don't know. Nah, I guess I'll probably have the powers of like maybe one of the Sailor Guardians. I'm not sure.
I can imagine, and I mean this in the most flattering way possible.
Go ahead. That's fine.
I imagine Patricia as a Sailor Moon villainess who has the power to make everyone in the world fall in love with her.
I like that. I like that.
Like Patricia is this, like Queen Beryl, like wearing this pimped out evening gown kind of thing with a crystal ball in one hand. And like she's walking down the street and anyone who looks at her immediately just starts bowing. It's like this Jasmine from season 4 of Angel thing where no one can, like, it is literally unthinkable to go against the will of Patricia now.
I like that. I you know what? I'm taking that. I'm taking that.
That is what I pictured.
And then he's asking what movie am I going to review next, and that's going to be Resurrection once I finish doing that.
Oh, joy. Epic Jason X9000 says, except Card Captor Sakura was better. I've never seen it, even though that I do know that there's like a remake of it or something, but I have not seen Card Captor Sakura.
Tom Ferrara dropped $2 saying, what would be cool as a remake? Rodan.
Oh, Rodan would be cool.
Yeah. Also, someone said, John Ratsey said she doesn't need that power because we all love Patricia. Yes.
Oh, thank you so much.
All glory to anime Patricia. And
oh, boy.
The Nestine 100 says, seriously, Patricia, are you surprised Decker went for the anime pervert power? No, I mean, I would have preferred if it would have been like a kaiju and would have had like crazy gadgets and like a costume or something with like a whole bunch of
still see-through clothes.
Sure.
Okay. As long as we got that.
Okay.
All right.
But someone raises an interesting point. Mr. Boy says, will you use your X-ray vision on men? Because
men wear clothes?
Yes. Men wear clothes, and Decker can see men too. Yeah.
Sure.
It is both a blessing and a curse.
Anyway, we have a $5 comment from the Terror of Death who says 6 more days until the end of summer. I'm sorry. 6 more days till the end of summer. End of summer. End of summer. 6 more days till the end of summer. Silver Shamrock. You better hurry up, Decker, or your soul is mine.
Yeah, I have a strange feeling I'm not gonna make it. Dang it.
You see what happens? This is what happens when I don't help Decker with summer specials.
Yeah.
Brian Walterson says, out of curiosity, are there any plans to bring any other Manic Expression contributors as guests at some point? We were very close to having Eagle Yama 70 join us, but he had some difficulties and he couldn't join us tonight, so that's unfortunate.
People have lives. It's a weird thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's like, I also wanted to get Ichabod Todd on. I still want to get Ichabod Todd on.
Yeah, we tried that too.
Right.
But, I mean, to be fair, I didn't try very hard.
All right, so I guess we can start talking about some good news, especially since there's a lot of video game news this week because, let's see, there was PAX West, there was Nintendo Direct, so got a lot of Nintendo news coming along.
Now we get to pay for online.
Yeah! Damn. All right, but we'll stay. I guess we can start with that first. So let's quickly discuss about all the stuff that was revealed in the Nintendo Direct that happened just a couple of days ago. So let me see if I can find it.
My favorite part was when they said like every single Final Fantasy that was ever made is coming to Switch except Final Fantasy VIII.
Poor Final Fantasy VIII.
Yeah, which means Squall's whiny bitching will not be gracing the Nintendo Switch.
But they had the gun blade. It was a sword and a gun.
It's like that middle child. I mean, you're never going to be as, groundbreaking and influential as your big brother, but you're never going to be as rooting back to the classics like your little brother. You're kind of like stuck in the middle, kind of confused.
Yeah. He and Titus's dad issues.
Epic Jason X9000 says, and yet nothing was featured for Metroid Prime 4. Again.
Yeah, not too surprising at this point. I mean, as mentioned before, I don't know. Japan doesn't seem to be huge Metroid fans. It's only like the Americans and the Europeans who are much more fans of the series than anything else. Okay, let's bring up the article.
Toby Kirkby dropped £2 saying we'll get a King of the Monsters in-car review. And possibly, I'm getting better at driving, still pretty terrified, but I went on the highway, it was pouring rain, I couldn't see anything, people didn't have their lights on. It was terrible, but I survived, so hey.
Yeah. Okay, here we go. Nintendo Direct, Animal Crossing Switch, Luigi's Mansion 3, and all the other news. Which, guess what? We actually did find a rumor of Animal Crossing on the Switch way back around last year's E3, if you can remember that.
Well, that's one that people ask for, like, all the time.
That's true.
Though I am slightly disappointed that the rumor name for the Yoshi game did not turn out to be true. I mean, I didn't think it was true because it sounded ridiculous, but at the same time, I really kind of would have liked it if it really was called that. Yoshi's Flipping Island.
Harry Flynn says, Decker, review the Yu-Gi-Oh movies. I never see you as like a Yu-Gi-Oh fan.
If I got the twins on it, they'd know more about it.
Yeah. I actually did 2 podcasts on Yu-Gi-Oh! If you're interested in checking it out, Harry. I did one on the entire franchise leading all the way up into Arc 5, since that was the newest one at the time, and one on Dark Side of the Dimensions, which I actually did see in theaters. All right. So, yeah, basically it's just discussing about, like, the new stuff that's going to be coming out for the Nintendo Switch. So, we have Animal Crossing Pocket Camp for mobile devices, and we have a Nintendo Switch version of Animal Crossing. We have a $5 comment from Jack Brand who says, Roger Ebert was quoted as, why do studios continue to try and remake classic movies? They should remake movies like The Stuff or Police Academy. Oh, we'll get to that in a minute, by the way. Seriously, we'll get to that in a minute.
I remember the Police Academy movies. I'm old enough to remember those. So
I remember The Stuff. That's what got me noticed by Manic Expression.
Yeah, I remember. Okay, so not only are we going to get an Animal Crossing for the mobile devices and for the Switch, but Isabelle from the Animal Crossing video games is going to be in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate, which, okay, that's interesting. I mean, we have the villagers, so okay, that's fine. Luigi's Mansion 3 is going to be another game for the Switch, which
Okay.
I do like Luigi's Mansion. I've never played the second one, but I do like the first one a lot. Let's see. Game Freak is actually going to be releasing a brand new RPG called, it's currently called Town, but it takes place in one village where you get to defend it against hordes of monsters. And I remember people were pissed at it. They were saying, like, what? Game Freak is doing another game that's not Pokemon? Oh, anger. But
I'm just wondering about the code name Town.
well, I mean,
did they start working on something? They're going to call it video game.
usually video games do have like placeholder names until they can figure out another one, but
Octopath Traveler. Fuck it, good enough.
Right. Let's see. And then and there we go. Now we have the Final Fantasy stuff. So let's see. Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, 10-2 are going to be released on the Switch. And then there's the Beat 'em Up bundle on September 18th, and then we have Katamari Damacy re-rolled, which I love. I'm a huge fan of Katamari Damacy. Played it when I was in college. Great
I never got
game.
to play the first one, so I'm like, yay.
It's great, by the way. It's so insane. I remember when I first
played the crap out of Beautiful Katamari, but everyone always told me it wasn't as good as the first.
I mean, I guess maybe. I mean, it's the same gameplay. I guess the story with like the prince and the king of the cosmos is also like really charming. But yeah, that game is so much fun. I remember when I first saw it in college at my college's game room, and somebody brought it over like a Japan port, and they were like playing through it, and I'm like, it was like the craziest thing I had ever seen. And then when it came to America, I eventually rented it, and it was just like amazing.
Arturo Riviera Dominguez asks, what the hell happened with the Final Fantasy VII remake?
Well, come on, this is Square. Everybody knows that if they're taking their sweet time with Kingdom Hearts, then they're probably going to take their even sweeter time with Final Fantasy VII. I mean, it's not too much a surprise at this point.
Yeah, it's going to come out. Final Fantasy VII remake is coming to PlayStation 7. That's how it works.
No. It's going to come into your mind. It's going to be the new virtual reality.
But that's going to make me think it's going to be really, really good, and I want it now.
Yes. Tom Ferreira gave us $4.99, saying, out of the big three, which are Godzilla, Rodan, and Mothra, Mothra is my least favorite. No offense, creepy.
I haven't seen the original Rodan, so... But based on what I know right now, I'd say he's probably my least favorite, but like I said, I didn't see the Rodan, so... I gotta take that in before I can fully, just based on the character, just wanting to see of them flying around doing the shit. I think Godzilla, then Mothra, then Rodan. That's me.
We have a $10 comment from the Terror of Death who says, I'm still waiting for Nintendo to port Xenosaga 1 through 3, an HD remaster of Xenoblade Chronicles, and a port of Xenoblade Chronicles X. I would like a port of Xenogear, but I don't have high hopes for that. Well, you never know. I mean, anything could happen. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the Nintendo stuff. There are some other discussions of video games, but we'll get to those later.
Get to pay for online.
Yes. That's going to be fun.
I just like, hey, Nintendo, I have money. Please take it.
Right.
Also, we have a $10 donation from the Terror of Death.
I already read that one about the Xenoblade.
That one. Where was my head during that?
But about paying for online with Nintendo, it's a new thing for a Nintendo system, but it's been like the last several generations otherwise, and it's really not expensive on the Nintendo. Like, if it's just the most expensive way to do it is like monthly as an individual. As an individual, the cheapest way to do it is yearly, where it's $20, which is like a third of what it costs from the other guys. But also, there's a family plan on Nintendo, which you can have like 8 different accounts on one plan for $35 for a year. So, I like myself, my fiance, the twins, and their mother. That's 5 right there for $35. Okay, boom.
Yeah, that's a lot. We have another $9.99 comment from Tom Ferrer who says, I'm just saying that out of the three, Mothra is my least favorite because I don't think it was memorable as the other three. Which, that's perfectly fine.
Yeah.
Mosuraya. Mosuraya.
Scott Duncan says, Patricia is Zamasu and Decker is Goku Black and Creepy is the jealous BF, aka Vegeta.
I have to be Vegeta? Oh, man.
Come on, Vegeta's awesome. I mean, sure, he's like, always jealous of Goku and he's always like trying to make himself stronger, but he's the fan favorite for a reason. Hey, at least you weren't Yamcha or something like that.
That's very true. I could have ended up.
John Ramsey says he'd like to see a remake of Critters.
Critters.
Well, get calling the Kyoto brothers.
Right. I do remember Critters vaguely. I also remember that the Critters had a cameo of sorts in the first Ninja Turtles.
God. Good old Gamer's asking, I wonder if Decker's fiance got some worried calls/texts after neighbors saw him yelling in his car. Interesting. Interesting thing. Not from that. That wasn't actually noticed, but the beginning of the H2O review, where I opened the front door and screamed and slammed the door.
Mm-hmm.
A few minutes later, my fiance got a text from her mother. So I heard yelling. Is everything okay?
Yes, Mom. My fiance is just doing another review of a movie. Carry on. Send. You'll be hearing this every week.
Yes, exactly.
I promise he will do less yelling around Thanksgiving dinner.
Yeah. Like, Decker won't raise his voice to his fiance, but he'll scream his lungs out at a movie.
Yes. Yeah. Actually, Thanksgiving's not necessarily safe either. If you don't brine that turkey, I got some words for you.
Okay, then.
Well, just put fucking plywood on the table, motherfucker.
All right. Now, going into our next discussion where, they were talking about you should try to remake classics such as Critters or Police Academy. Well, guess what? One out of the two is actually getting a remake. So let me just pull it up if I can with my stupid screensaver. There we go. Okay, Steven Gutenberg says the universe is getting a brand new Police Academy. So yes, we're getting a brand new Police Academy movie. Why don't you read this one, Creepy?
Everything old must be new again, and so it was only a matter of time before the reboot gods got around to Police Academy, and they have. According to original star Steve Guttenberg, the actor, also known for Cocoon, 3 Men and a Baby, and for roller skating down Manhattan's Fifth Avenue in the opening of the Village People movie Can't Stop the Music, broke the news on Twitter early Labor Day. In an exchange caught by the Hollywood Reporter, an enthusiastic fan of the franchise, which spawned 7 films beginning in the 1980s, bugged the Goot.
Yeah, I guess the Goot, because Gutenberg.
Over Twitter for more details, prompting the Goot to tell him, Adam, the next Police Academy.
The Goot is a terrible nickname.
I know. Yes, thank you. I'm like, this does not sound like a nickname you give to someone because you like them.
It sounds like a kind of sweaty and not very pleasant smelling piece of the body that normally does not come out.
Yes.
It sounds like a kind of like a discount version of Lutefisk. Instead of the loot, it's the Goot.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to call him Stevie Berg. There we go.
Stevie Berg, sure.
Stevie Berg. Adam, the next Police Academy is coming. No details yet, but it is in a gift bag being readied. Okay. For the first 4 films in the Police Academy cycle, Gutenberg played Mahoney, the smirking prankster of a cabal of Keystone-ish cops that also included Michael Winslow's mouth noise enthusiast Jones. I loved his character. Marion Ramsey's Mousy Hooks, also another favorite of mine. Tim Kazurinsky.
I think it's Kazurinsky.
Kazurinsky, thank you. Mousier Sweet Chuck, among others. Gutenberg left after installment 4, aka Citizens on Patrol, and Mahoney was last seen riding off in a hot air balloon with Sharon Stone. This happened.
We got a couple of super chats. One from Tom Ferrer, $25. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Also, Creepy, Rodan, 1956, is more of a claustrophobic horror film, and Rodan doesn't appear, at least on screen, until the end of the second act. And in the first act focuses on another monster who I won't spoil. So now it sounds like something I really want to check out. Why didn't I watch Rodan yet? And Terror of Death dropped $2 saying, "Fuck! Why?
Holy crap!"
And, Tom Ferreira dropped $2 saying, "Damn, I meant Decker. How did I fuck that up?"
But yes.
So Tom Ferreira had to drop $2 more to correct his telling me about Rodan. Not
right. No, that sounds interesting now. Yeah. Okay. I did. What was
Zach Jones says, "My ears."
Bobcat
Goldthwait.
Yeah, Bobcat Goldthwait, who played the rambunctious Zed, starting with the second film, aka their first assignment, also left the franchise then and has since criticized the films for being, in his estimation, not very good. Presumably, Goldthwait, now an acclaimed filmmaker and content creator who directed a heartbreaking documentary about the late comedian Barry Crimmins, will not be returning.
Yeah, and for those who are wondering who Goldthwait is, he currently has a brand new TV series. I think it's called Of Gods and Monsters, but if you don't know him, you probably definitely know his voice. He's the voice of Pain from Hercules. Or, you may know him as Scrooge, but yeah continue on, Creepy.
Of Gods and Monsters, that does ring a bell. No details on who will be coming back, but among those who've since passed on are Bubba Smith, Hightower, I remember him, David Graff, Tackleberry, I didn't know he had died, and George Gaines, Commander Lassard. Meanwhile, some actors who made one-offs in various episodes and are presumably free include Kim Cattrall, one of the first one, Howard Hessman, their first assignment, David Spade, Citizens on Patrol, Ron Perlman, Mission to Moscow, and the aforementioned Sharon Stone.
Yes.
I do remember Ron Perlman played the main antagonist in Mission to Moscow. But no, I mean, I do remember the Police Academy films. I actually saw some behind the scenes footage. It was actually inspired by like one of the people behind the scenes, either director, producer, or something, had had seen like a lineup of Police Academy recruits, and he asked one of the drill instructors or whatever, I don't know the Police Academy equivalent of those, but basically asking them, so like, these are the recruits you're going to be training to become cops, and they were like, basically it was a motley crew of recruits, and the guy explained, yeah, we have to take anybody who shows up, but that doesn't mean we have to keep them.
Okay. So and by the way, I got the name of the show wrong. It's called Misfits and Monsters, so I apologize. But it's actually it looks pretty cool. It's an anthology comedy series, and each of them is a standalone episode. One episode it can be a psychological thriller. One episode could be sci-fi. One episode could be a romantic comedy. So it looks pretty interesting. I see a few pictures of this, and it's like, you have one with a talking animated dog with Seth Green, and the other one you have the devil in an office. So
clever channel name saes they're going to make Decker's Predator Rage Rant into a meme. I'd like to see it turn into like a screaming metal song.
Do it, but do both. I advise both.
Oh boy. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And then Robert Patrick in a cop uniform shows up and says, "Have you seen this boy?" It says Epic Jason X9000.
Yeah. Police Academy. What are our thoughts about a new one coming out? I've never seen any of the movies, so I can't really say.
Not really. I haven't really seen the Police Academy movies recently. I think I've seen them in the past, but it's been so long. It's like, I know that movie, but what was it?
Right.
All I know is like Michael Winslow. Anyone to be in the position that Michael Winslow was in a remake of a movie Michael Winslow was in.
Mm-hmm.
I'm trying to think. Oh, geez. I just had the name on my head and it was gone. Why do I do this to myself? I'm dumb.
I remember it was back in, I believe, 2008. I was staying in a trailer with a roommate. We didn't have cable, and the internet was down. So I ended up watching all, I believe, 7 or 8. I want to say 8, all 8 Police Academy movies.
Wow.
Well, yeah. That's a lot of damn movie. How did I? What? It's the Land Before Time. Jesus.
Land Before Time.
I feel like you lost me there for a minute there.
Yeah, I think so.
Land Before Time.
Yes, Land Before Time, great movie, done by Dom Bluth, Steven Spielberg, George Lucas, about talking dinosaurs.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, great movie. We'll be celebrating its 30th anniversary in November.
Yes, Ken, maybe we discussed that, and it was a very rage-inducing segment of the show. Like, how do you fucking bad? But Tom Ferreira dropped $10 saying, "Decker, you should check out Toho's other science fiction films like The Mysterians, Varan, The Unbelievable, H-Man, Battle in Outer Space, Gorath, Matango, Atarago, Dogora, and Space Amoeba."
That's a lot of movies.
Space
Amoeba. That's the best title. That's going to be the name of my autobiography.
I thought it was going to be motherfucking Chainsaw Hands, the story of Decker's Shado and his crazy reviews about horror, action, and sci-fi movies.
Yeah.
So basically, I guess we can go over to the next one, which we did discuss about in a previous episode of Live and Wired, that there were talks about...
So that Dark Lord 78526 says, "Decker, please tone down your Vietnam flashbacks for one stream, please."
Oh boy. Okay, so Die Hard, right? So there were discussions about that there was going to be an equivalent of year 1 for Die Hard, and there were like talks of it. There was nothing concrete, but now there has been, because they just revealed what the title of the movie is going to be called, and you're not going to guess what it is because it is just so unbelievably original. The movie is called McClane. Amazing, isn't it?
Woo!
Wow.
I know. McClane.
Who's going to have the honor of this one?
I can take it. Also, Tom Ferreira dropped $2 saying, "Decker, have you seen Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared?" And I'm wondering if you changed subjects in the middle of that question. And the answer is no. But, okay. The next installment of the Die Hard movies has a new title, and it's not Die Hard Year 1. Instead, what will now be the 6th release from the franchise surrounding Bruce Willis's John McClane will be known as simply McClane. You has confirmed. Producer Lorenzo Di Bavana initially revealed in an interview with Empire magazine. You can tell our intention by the fact that the title page we handed in for the script says McClane. But yeah. Hoofed Master dropped $2 saying, "Hi, Die Hard 9 review." He said, "We want you to get invested in John McClane more than ever before." Never mind. Okay. Dave Bonaventura also confirmed that what Willis previously said in 2015 about the next chapter, the story will bounce back and forth between present-day McClane and younger McClane. "I don't know how you do Die Hard without Bruce," Di Bonaventura said. "The idea that he's not very significant in this movie is not accurate at all. We're going to explore John McClane in his 20s, but just as prominent is the 60-year-old version." So what, does he have Alzheimer's? Is he forgetting some shit and thinking that it's before? And we got this, like, Phantasm 5 thing going on?
"It's been 84 years, and I can still smell the fresh bullets and the smoke that came from my guns. The tower was called the Building of Dreams, and it was. It really was."
And then
Tom says, "First Rocky, then Rocky, now Die Hard." Wow, studios has originality in names.
I know.
Die Hard Year 1 was an earlier title treatment given to the project around the time Len Wiseman, the director behind Live Free or Die Hard, had first been in negotiations to direct. I can read. When we last touched base with Die Hard, it was the 5th film, A Good Day to Die Hard, released in 2013, that saw McClane heading to Russia to meet up with his son, Jai Courtney, who turned out to be an undercover operative for the CIA. It makes things really awkward around Thanksgiving, that's all I'm saying. Just as Willis 63 recently returned to another old franchise with Glass, this secret sequel to M. Night Shyamalan's Unbreakable and Split, he will now return to Die Hard. Other plot details are officially under wraps, but we at least definitely know one thing. Die Hard is not a Christmas movie. So saith the real McLean.
Yeah, tell that to the millions of people who watch it every Christmas.
I reviewed it for Christmas.
There you go. Yeah, so...
And I had to face opposition to review it for Christmas because people were like, Decker, where the hell is Dino-Sember?
Also, we had a... Did anyone see the chat from Tom Ferrara?
Yeah, we already discussed about all the other Toho films for him to cover. So yes,
right.
First, yeah, and also first Rocky, then Rocky, now Die Hard. Yeah,
right. Yeah,
it's seriously, it's like the originality of the names is just so inspiring.
People are saying it's my Christmas movie. Yippee-ki-yay, turkey lovers. Die Hard is a Christmas movie. I don't care what he says.
Yeah. So Decker,
Matanui is like, I don't care. I haven't even seen Die Hard.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, look, I'm actually curious. Do we have a Twitter poll for this week?
Oh, yes.
Don't worry, I'll come up with something really quick. Well, in the meantime, while I come up with something because yes, Creepy.
Can I throw something out there? I'm sorry, just
yeah, go ahead, absolutely.
Okay. If they are going to make a new Die Hard movie, who should star alongside Bruce Willis?
Ooh, let me write this down.
And I have a list of names based on who has come up, names that since they've come up so far in tonight's chat.
Okay, what do we got?
Stephen Gutterman.
Okay.
Sharon Stone. Ron Perlman. Or, not brought up tonight so far, Jim Carrey.
Yes! I love it.
Also, Tom Ferrara dropped another $5 chat in the Godzilla anime novel tie-in Kamakuras Attacks New York, and the first thing he destroys is, guess you're not going to believe it.
Okay, so live and wire poll: who should star alongside Bruce Willis in a new Die Hard movie? Stephen Gutterman, Sharon Stone, Ron Perlman, or Jim Carrey? 30 minutes starting now at Decker Shado on Twitter. Shaboom!
All right, and as usual, I'll share it in the chat for anybody who hasn't had the chance.
Mm-hmm.
That would be really interesting to see Jim Carrey in a Die Hard movie. I know that he's mostly played for laughs, but if done right, it could be done.
I imagine Jim Carrey from 23. I imagine Jim Carrey as the bad guy.
Or maybe Jim Carrey with a psychological disturbed mind. That would be also really cool too.
Jim Carrey getting old and crazy. And he's just Jim. I could imagine Jim Carrey as just like a little off the wall kind of fucking just. You don't imagine much because he's just a little skinny old guy, but he looks at you with those eyes, and you're like, "Oh fuck, I'm dead."
Yeah,
like a cross between take his nice guy persona as Stanley Ipkiss from the
Jack Bean, I think. Jack Brand said Tommy Wiseau as Bruce Willis's cop partner. Book it.
No boy.
Also, Tom Ferrara also said the World Trade Center.
I'm confused.
Okay. Oh, I get it because in Die Hard, they were blowing up the towers that look like the World Trade Center. So okay.
So Nakatomi Plaza is blowing up. Oh my god. Oh, this is really awkward now.
Yeah.
But they didn't know because it was the 80s. It was going to be a while before that happened.
That's true.
But Jim Carrey's persona will be a cross between his Stanley Ipkiss character from The Mask and a combination of his character, the Riddler, and the Cable Guy.
Have you guys seen his new show, Just Kidding? It's pretty disturbing, actually. Basically what he does is that he is he plays as a kid's a kid's host for he plays as the host for a kids show. And he's all trying to be all happy and cheerful, and everything around him is just all depressing and screwed up. Like his wife left him, his son died in a car accident, his other son is depressed and hanging out with the wrong crowd. His boss who just so happens to be his dad, doesn't want him to talk about death in the kids show, and his and also the person who does the puppets is his sister, and she has a daughter who refuses to shower. It's watch through it. It's pretty messed up, but it's actually really interesting. You get to see Jim Carrey in a more dramatic side, which I mean I like to see more of that. I kind of miss the more dramatic Jim Carrey when he treats himself like really seriously as an actor. He does still have his like optimistic, happy self, but everything around him is just so sad.
Darth Necrosis says Jim Carrey has gone off the rails lately. I think he saw the Predator movie too.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh boy!
All right,
going on that highway, just coming home.
Yeah. All right, let's go over to some more news. This is actually a really cool one that I found out about a day after we did the previous episode of Live and Wired. But let's go into the realm of science. So, going into Jurassic Park, you always think that, oh man, there's no way that something like that could be happening in real life. Well, Russia's going to give it a shot. They're going to be opening a Jurassic Park-style research lab in Siberia. Yes, Siberia.
So, do we have to worry about Russia, or are they going to kill themselves with woolly mammoths?
Okay, if we're not worried about Steven Seagal being the peacekeeper between what's wrong with me? The peacekeeper between the U.S. and Russia.
Too long.
I know. If we're not worried about the peacekeeping between the U.S. and Russia with Steven Seagal, then we definitely need to worry about dinosaurs being bombarded all over Russia and then eventually the entire world.
Okay, Tom Ferrer dropped $20 saying, no, I was referring to what Kamakaris first destroys when he first attacks New York in the anime tie-in. The World Trade Center gets the worst of it. First Die Hard, then the 93 bombing, then Kamakaris, and then 9/11.
Yeah.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so let me read this one. Welcome to, I have no idea what that says. That's Russia for Jurassic Park. After
it's also Cyrillic, so good luck trying to figure out the pronunciation.
Yeah, I could probably go over to Google Hangouts and say excuse me, Google, can you tell me how this is pronounced? I'll probably find that out later. After a relatively brief 10,000-year absence, could woolly mammoths be roaming the depths of snowy Russia in the not-too-distant future? The new research facility in Siberia would like to think so. At the 4th Eastern Economic Forum in Vladivostok next month, Russia will reveal their plans to open a $5.9 million lab in the Siberian city of Yakutsk in hopes to quickly become a world-class paleogenetic scientific center, according to the Siberian Times.
So Dark Lord 78526 is saying they're going to revive it with communism and vodka. I Like Cheesecake is saying Sika Blike.
Now I'm imagining Russia sending like the inner, 8-year-old who was taught that communism will ruin everything. I'm imagining Russia sending an army of dinosaurs who are all communists and drinking vodka onto other nations to convert them.
Death dropped $5 saying that the U.S. already tried cloning dinosaurs from DNA, but the samples were too degraded.
Yes, I did hear that. Yeah.
Yeah. And in fact, it even says so in the article right here.
Patrick Johnson saying that is chaos theory, comrade.
It says so right here. Let's see. If I just lost it. Oh, here it is. However, resurrecting extinct species is no small feat because primarily DNA degrades over time. Even if some soft tissue is preserved in permafrost, scientists are left piecing together odd fragments of DNA. It's hoped that animals such as the mammoth or cave lion have close enough relatives to fill in the gaps, a la the frog DNA in Jurassic Park.
Right.
So they're hoping something similar would happen.
Right.
So the permafrost is melting because the globe's getting hot, and now they're like, hey, woolly mammoths, remember how you died off before the Ice Age finished? Well, now you got another chance in the roasty toasty modern day. Enjoy. Even if they make one properly, I think it's going to die.
That's true. Not only did they find a woolly mammoth, but just mentioned here, they found two perfectly preserved cave lion cubs. Anyway, so one animal that's ever been cloned after going extinct. The Pyrenean ibex first died off in 1997. The de-extinct individual died after just 7 minutes of life, meaning it was the first animal to go extinct twice.
Nicholas Walker left a $5 chat. Are you guys going to talk about the trailers of 2 Netflix cartoons, She-Ra and Hilda?
We will definitely talk about She-Ra, and as for Hilda, I haven't actually seen the trailer for it yet, but maybe I'll find an article about it.
Oh god, Lord of Pearl Trident saying his sexual Tyrannosaurus shouting, "Must crush capitalism."
Must crush capitalism like sparrows between thighs. Okay, so even if it's scientifically possible to reconstruct an extinct species, it comes with a bunch of ethical questions. As Dr. Malcolm from Jurassic Park famously quipped, your scientists were so preoccupied with whether or not they could, they didn't stop to think if they should. However, by all accounts... Okay.
Clever channel name says, clone something useful, like Burt Reynolds.
I mean, they've done it for Rodney Dangerfield, so why not?
Hey, Burt Reynolds passed recently.
Yes, that's true.
They said.
Rest in peace. However, by all accounts, none of these hurdles are discouraging scientists from their efforts. Because of course not. Why would they?
A minigun-wielding Ankylosaurus. I want one.
Yes, so I'm sure we can get one at our nearest pet store. But yes, we are going to be having possible dinosaurs roaming around Mother Russia in the future.
Yeah.
That's the second thing that we...
Clever channel name does point out if we had an army of Burt Reynolds, we could take over the world.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That is true.
All right.
Oh boy.
So let's go over to some other stuff to discuss about.
Yay, stuff.
Okay. Let's actually go into what our previous discussion was about the She-Ra trailer. So yes, it did come out recently, and I know that there was a lot of commotion about people looking at the new She-Ra and saying like, "Oh, she's not good looking enough." Yeah.
Oh god, Joshua M. Russian communism immunizes you from ethical dilemma.
Yes. Yes, they did have DNA of Rodney Dangerfield, and I think there was like rumors about cloning him, and yes, that is pretty much true. Well, I'm sure I'll find something about it later. Anyway, so yes, the trailer for She-Ra and the Princess of Power. This is one of the many reasons why I wanted to have Yama over as our guest for this evening, because I know he's a huge She-Ra fan, and I would have loved to know about his thoughts on it.
Yeah, my thoughts are pretty much, I didn't watch the old one, and I have no idea what to think of this.
Yeah. We have a 199 comment from Davy Cloud who says, the communist alcoholic dinosaur conversion posse. Yes. I mean, we're going to have a dinosaur that's going to be fueled with vodka, borscht, and communism.
You want me to read this one?
Go ahead. Please do so.
She-Ra and the Princesses of Power is here.
Oh, Princesses of Power. Okay.
If you were waiting to see the first glimpses of the new She-Ra animated series, today is the day. We have the first teaser trailer for the show that gives us some idea of what to expect from the upcoming series, which will begin airing on Netflix. Check out the trailer footage below and share with us your honest opinion of the show after the jump. Source: He-Man.org. DreamWorks is attending New York Comic Con to promote She-Ra and Voltron, with panels filled with cast and crew to discuss both series. The big events are taking place inside the Hammerstein Ballroom, but there's a lot of great content spread across the big event. DreamWorks Animation Television confirmed several key panels for New York Comic Con 2018 this week, filed with executive producers and voice talent. The studio will be promoting the upcoming Netflix original series, DreamWorks She-Ra and the Princesses of Power, as well as the fan favorite Voltron, Legendary Defenders. Fans can expect sneak peeks, panel discussions, and fan Q&As at both panels this year. In addition to the panels, DreamWorks will also offer a new fan experience inspired by the imaginative world of the highly anticipated series, She-Ra and the Princesses of Power. Find it at booth number 502. I'm making sure I'm saying that way. The activation? Like,
yeah,
okay.
that's correct. The activation.
The activation. I'm just making sure I'm seeing what I'm seeing.
What is this? What is activation? Are they talking? What? Okay, I don't know.
I mean, like, I mispronounce words on here. You know, I see one word.
Shira panel activated.
Like, what? The activation will include a larger-than-life She-Ra statue, as well as interactive photo opportunities that will transport your guests straight to Etheria, the Whispering Woods, and Hordak's Lair. Reservations are required to attend the fan experience, so be on the lookout for more information on New York Comic-Con's social channels. If you're a fan of Voltron Legendary Defender, you can pick up a New York Comic-Con exclusive vinyl co-produced by DreamWorks Animation Television and Mondo, which will include music from the entire series and original cover artwork by the show's creative team. More information on that will be released as we get closer to NYCC. Lion Forge Comics is also releasing a special comic book variant for Voltron Legendary Defender. Co-writer Mitch Iverson will be participating in multiple signings at the Lion Forge booth on Friday, October 5th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. and Saturday, October 6th from 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Again.
Yes, I think that should be enough.
Okay, so the Terror of Death dropped $5, saying instead of cloning Burt Reynolds to take over the world, we need to clone an army of Bruce Lee.
Oh yes, that'd be amazing.
And I believe there was some talk about taking Burt Reynolds' DNA and actually mixing it with dinosaur DNA. Not sure who's
the Birdosaurus.
But Lazarus
sold 80.
Yes.
Go ahead.
It says they should have done the DC version of She-Ra. She was like a mix of Winter Soldier and Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Anyway, I just looked up more information about the whole Rodney Dangerfield cloning thing. They never did, but there were talks of it when he was getting sick and about to pass away. They never went through with it, but his wife still has his sweat in a refrigerator somewhere in the hopes of maybe she'll change her mind. So yes, that's still a thing apparently. Anyway, so She-Ra. I know that a lot of people have had their severe mixed opinions about it, especially with the fact that She-Ra's not pretty enough, and she's not anywhere near as sexy as she was in the original, and blah 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 blah. But we need to take into account that She-Ra, even in both the original and in this newer incarnation, I think she's a teenager. I think she's 14. So
yeah, but they're not actually supposed to look 14.
I know that's true, but still, it's yeah.
I like Cheesecake says, Nani?
Nani? Yes. Nandaso. Yeah. But yeah, there's been a lot of just negative remarks about every single animated remake of classic 80s and 90s cartoons that has been coming out. Thundercats Roar has been so hated by everybody. When they were seeing the intro to it, they were saying, nope, nothing like the original. Same thing with the Powerpuff Girls when that was being thrown around, and there's a whole bunch of talks about some other shows as well. But yeah, just She-Ra, even there wasn't even a trailer at the time. There was just a picture, and already the internet was just going insane. It's just not fair, I mean, you have to see at least a trailer or get a synopsis. That way you can make a fair statement about it.
Right.
John Ratsey says, as long as they don't touch my favorite show, Zoids, then I'm good.
I never watched She-Ra, so I don't know what the She-Ra I'm supposed to be looking at.
But no, Yama has been tentatively excited, but at the same time, there's always the fear of what's the new version going to be like as opposed to the old one. But even Yama has admitted to me that while he loves the old version, it's not necessarily good. It has some good episodes in it, but overall it's he admits that as a show it's of questionable quality. So
sure. And also you have to remember that it was basically just a female version of He-Man, and it didn't exactly have an identity. But you can even argue that Jem has more of an identity despite how little it is. At least it was an original character. The whole, trying to copy off of the phase of like Barbie when she was having her singing career for like 10 minutes.
Actually, of course, I'm not. I don't know, like, with all the things talking about, everyone who doesn't like She-Ra doesn't like she's not pretty enough and this and that and the other. And I don't know enough about the story to know what they're doing with the story and how everything's going to be going, how the writing is going to be between the two, because it's like, I don't know, to me, it's kind of reminded me a bit with, Shadow the Tomb Raider just came out very recently.
Yeah.
And I was playing a little bit of that very badly. I put it on way too high of a difficulty. I need to tone it down because I didn't have checkpoints.
Why must you
back to the beginning of the game?
Why must you, in every single game that you play, always go on hard mode and then complain about why am I losing all the time? It's because you're on hard mode.
No, it's not. It wasn't why am I losing. It was why am I being sent back to the beginning of the fucking game every time. I turned Tomb Raider into getting over it, and I was like, no. But aside from that little me fucking things up for myself. There's a question of Lara Croft in the new Tomb Raider versus the old Tomb Raider, and I prefer the old Tomb Raider, Lara Croft, and such. And there was like talk about I was talking about how I didn't really like the first one of the new reboots Tomb Raider.
Yeah.
The second one, Charlie played that, and I was like, yeah, it's better. She's not a little whiny bitch anymore. She has a little bit of that, but she's not. That's not her only trait anymore. And I didn't play through the entirety of the first of the reboot games because I couldn't stand it. Right. But I was actually like looking forward to Shadow the Tomb Raider a little more because she seems a bit more badass. And there's someone in the chat saying, "Yeah, you'd like her fine if she had a tight shirt and little shorts on." And I'm like, no. My problem with Lara Croft in the new Tomb Raider is her skills were getting hit and crying.
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't like what they did with the character. Yeah, she was wearing more clothes now, but that really didn't matter.
I mean, a lot of people can argue about like, oh, but Decker, this is a prequel series. This is when she was starting out. And that's true, I guess so. But, when you try to take a character that we're all familiar with and try to, quote unquote, try to flesh her out and make her a little bit more relatable, it kind of just loses the edge of what made Lara great in the first place.
Wolf Pro dropped $5 saying, Decker, are you going to watch and review the new Venom movie? I'd like to. I finally saw the trailer. Yeah. Finally saw the trailer for Venom. It looks weird, but good. Mm-hmm. It looks like it has a little more comedy to it. It's like a general kind of comic book movie. It has the comic relief just happens. Hopefully not to the same extent it did in Predator, because the Predator, it was like, what the hell? And just constantly, every scene's supposed to be just yuck, yuck, yuck. Oh, Predator got in the back of the truck and ripped these motherfuckers apart. And the guy driving heard something weird. And he's like, what's that? And the Predator picks up the guy's arm and sticks it in the front where he's like, thumbs up.
Lovely.
He's like, oh, okay. And they keep driving.
All right, let's go over to some other stuff that we're going to be covering. By the way, speaking of all these remakes that are coming out, and speaking of cartoons that are going to be remade from the 80s and 90s, we're going to be getting a movie adaptation of a cartoon from the 90s that you would never expect to have a gritty reboot. Like, in a million years, when I first read about this, I thought this was a joke. It's like, you got to be kidding me. But I read more into it, and it's like, okay. Whatever. So, here we go. Captain Planet is getting a remake.
Gonna take pollution down to zero. Am I the only one who thinks of that little video that went semi-viral a while ago about the guy smoking weed? Am I the only one who thinks of that immediately with Captain Planet?
But yes, we are getting a dark, gritty reboot of Captain Planet in the theaters. This is amazing. Now, don't get me wrong. I mean, I've seen a lot of cool Captain Planet cameos and spoofs over the years. There's some great ones with Don Cheadle on Funny or Die. There's that great Captain Planet cameo over in OK Go. But never would I imagine that there would be a Captain Planet movie where it's dark and gritty and irreverent. Like, what? Oh my God!
The climate has changed. Dun, 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 dun. Captain Planet takes no prisoners.
Yeah. All right. Who wants to read this? This is just amazing.
I guess I will.
Go, please. Yes.
Yeah, Darth Necros is saying, Captain Planet, protect the environment or I'll fucking kill you.
Oh, and now all of the Planeteers are diehard liberals, so everybody can complain about them.
34 says, for a more serious tone, make Captain Planet Idris Elba.
Why not? They got a black guy to do it in Funny or Die. I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Oh, Captain Planet goes over to a kid dropping a piece of trash on the floor. It's like, you pick that up or I'll break your fucking arm.
It's Captain Planet once again, but his big screen adaptation is going to look a bit different than the cartoon fans remember. The new Captain Planet project will be based off a screenplay from actor Glenn Powell, who has lit projects both on television, Scream Queens, Set It Up, and on film, Hidden Figures. He got more projects lined up too, like the Top Gun starring Tom Cruise. But there's
oh, great! The Top Gun sequel, my God.
We have Tom Cruise, Val Kilmer slapping each other on the ass again 20, 30 years later.
Yes, and a gritty reboot of Captain Planet.
Yeah. There's a special place in his heart for...
God. Mata Nui... Oh, not that one. Chicken Wing 209 says, Jason Statham should be the new Captain Planet.
Also, hey, Tom Ferrara says...
I just see you littering.
Tom Ferrara dropped a $10 chat, says, I bet in the Captain Planet movie, Captain Planet is going to go Jason Voorhees on anyone who pollutes the environment.
Oh, I know. Carlos Angel...
How many miles per gallon does that vehicle get?
And Carlos Angel donated $2 saying, Creepy and Decker in a video game, genre and why? Oh, genre. Yeah. Creepy and Decker in a video game, genre and why?
JRPG.
How about point and click adventure?
Or point and click adventure, yeah.
I just wonder, like, every time the player tries to do something that they can't do, I want to complain about it.
I would like either Metroidvania or 3D platformer.
Awesome.
Okay. Captain Planet. Top Gun. That's what it was.
Okay. And he's working on a slightly darker take on the character along with Paramount and Pain Way Productions. The show was a favorite of Powell's early on, and others have tried to bring Captain Planet to film. Unfortunately, those have never really materialized. I think we would have noticed if it had. So to get Captain Planet on the big screen, a few tweaks and changes are in order. I mean, they've tried to make it into a superhero movie before, but they kind of did like an earnest take, and ours is way more subversive and fun and like dark and irreverent. Powell told
Captain Deadpool.
Sometimes you have to think of these things logically. If you have a blue superhero with a green mullet, you can't do like an earnest take on that. You got to go at it from a fun direction.
Yeah, it's fun direction where it's going to be dark and gritty. Absolutely.
For those who don't remember, Captain Planet and the Planeteers revolved around 5 teens who were gifted with rings from the ancient spirit of Earth, Gaia, after she awoke to the news that the Earth was dying.
Well, yeah, because the freaking glaciers were cracking over and dropping water on her face.
Yeah. Each ring has a different ability related to the elements, resulting in Planeteers wielding the power of fire, water, wind, earth, and hearts. Otherwise, they were basically specialized versions of the Avatar.
I don't know about the heart part. I mean, like, what is that going to be? Like the Avatar state if it was lamer?
Christopher McDonald says, if Captain Planet is going to be topical, the villain should be China.
Yes.
Where was I? Okay, they predicted the planet from eco-villains, but when their power wasn't enough to stem the tide, they could combine their powers to call in the hero Captain Planet.
Which happened to be every single episode. They really weren't very good at what they did.
Or maybe they were just lazy and they were like, okay, this is getting too hard.
I mean, occasionally they'd solve something with just their powers, but that was always some very minor thing that just opened the door to some bigger conspiracy going on with the supervillains, and they were like, I'm going to throw all the oil into every ocean and kill all the whales.
Oh, God. and lest we forget about the AIDS episode.
Actually, okay, I'm going to say something no one is going to like.
Sure.
I actually liked the AIDS episode.
It could have been done worse.
It could have been done worse. Okay, I admit it was kind of stupid, okay? But the parts where after the kid finds out that he is HIV positive from a blood transfusion and he's actually, probably not going to live for the next, for more than a couple of years, and he's, this is going through his head, I actually thought that was pretty good. Now, a humanoid rat going around passing out flyers about this kid so that everyone in the neighborhood will turn against him is a bit cheesy and corny, but...
Oh, you're Vermilius Scum. Yeah, I remember him.
I just think it's like, what's this? Oh, kid's got AIDS. You're a fucking rat.
That's how because of you, the bubonic plague started.
Right? Now, that was kind of dumb.
Who are you going to trust?
Right. But at the same time, this was something that actually, it wasn't, giant rat people handing out flyers, but, people who got AIDS did have people in their neighborhood turn against them. That part, at least, was real, Mm-hmm. So I did, and the episode does end rather ham-fistedly with Captain Planet basically showing up to give a speech and then everything's okay now. So this episode has problems.
Tom Ferreira dropped $10 in a super chat, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on? Because he says, normally in a slasher film, the hot chick with the big boobs normally is killed in the usual slasher film. But what if the hot chick with the big boobs gets strangled with her own boobs? Exactly.
Unless you have gigantic knockers, that maybe if you were hanging upside down, that it would like choke your neck and you would not breathe. I don't think that's possible.
Isn't that kind of what happened in Scream 2? She was trying to get out through the little doggy door and just couldn't because her tits was too big.
That was Scream 1, and basically she managed to get her shoulders out, but nothing else. She could work like her torso out, but not the rest of her.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so let's just finish this up because this is like unbelievable that this thing is going to exist.
Yes. Okay, sorry, my posterior was starting to go numb, so it's been an interesting process and it's taken a long time, but now we're getting that up and going and we're really stoked about it, Powell said. Captain Planet and the Planeteers ran for 6 seasons from September 1990 to February 1996. The new Captain Planet film does not have a release date.
Yeah. So if they are going to do a Captain Planet movie, who do you think should be the villain? Because there were a ton of them. Yes, Decker's going to be the villain.
Well, I'm just going to use way too much hair product, and it'll be polluting the world. And Captain Planet's going to have to come burst in my bathroom and just fucking beat the shit out of me.
Well,
how dare you ruin the ozone layer with your hairspray?
There was Hoggish Greedley. There was Luton Plunder. There was
Vermilius Scum.
We already mentioned him. Dr. Blight, who is
Dr. Blight, yes.
She was my favorite villain of the group.
Yeah, definitely a lot of people seem to like Dr. Blight. Going by where I was trying to find some kind of images for a title card to put together for this episode, and I ended up on DeviantArt, and oh my god.
And she was voiced by Meg Ryan, if you can.
But I try not to use DeviantArt things because those are artists and they like to be credited. And I don't have much time to credit people, so I'm like, let me try and find regular ass Captain Planet images. But
sure.
I think it kind of ends up in Google image search. But they were noticeable.
Yeah. But there was also what was his name? The radiation guy, the one with the bad skin. Did he have? Was he named?
Oh, Duke Nukem. Yes.
Yeah. I was thinking, was he named the same as the video? character?
No. The show came out in 1990. The first game came out in 91. So technically, Duke Nukem from Captain Planet came first.
Oh, yeah. Okay. But he absorbed radiation and like he needed it to survive, and he would like fire it out as energy blasts too.
Yeah, and then there was also Captain Pollution, which was basically like an anti-Captain Planet.
Right. Yeah. I love the episodes with Captain Pollution. They are hilarious. I love them. Yeah. Like they had this whole big two-parter where Duke Nukem, Dr. Blight, Loot and Plunder, Sly Sludge, that was another one, who was like the poor man's Hoggish Greedley. Sly Sludge and Verminous Scum teamed up, stole the Planeteers' rings, and then made evil pollution-based rings off of the Planeteers' rings, and they could summon Captain Pollution to fight Captain Planet. Yes. And it was just this hilariously awesome episode.
Yeah. I'm actually really curious how they're going to pull this off, because because Captain Planet did have its like hokey moments, and it tried to push the lesson of pollution a little bit too much. But I mean, there was something about it that I could see work. It's actually a really interesting premise. You have a bunch of kids trying to like clean up the environment, and you have these bad guys who are like over the top, and they'd like to make things all dirty and do it for the sake of money. And
I just remember, like we were just talking about, they can't do anything on their own most of the time. They always got to call the captain. Yeah, there was the one episode where they got like bracers.
Yeah,
that's mega powers now.
Right.
And they abused the shit out of that.
Yeah.
I think it was in a later season.
That was the episode that introduced, what was his name? Harm? No. Damn it. This is I gotta look this up now.
I'll look it up.
Yeah, okay. But yeah, he used to be a spirit of the earth like Gaia.
Zarm.
Yeah, it sounded like Harm. He used to be a spirit of the earth like Gaia, but he like betrayed her or something and left to go into space, and he started destroying other planets through pollution and then came back to Earth. He was supposed to be like the biggest big bad that they ever had,
apparently he was voiced by Sting.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, well, the thing about it is that Captain Planet had a lot of celebrities doing voices. LeVar Burton did the voice of Kwame. Kwame.
And he also appeared back in OKKO. So
right.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And I forget who did Dr. Blight, but I think she was
Meg Ryan.
Meg Ryan actually did do the voice of Dr. Blight.
Yeah, but she didn't do it for very long. She only did it for like the first season. I think Mary Kay Bergman did it for the later seasons.
Right, but
Satoshi Katsumoto is asking the wrestler or the singer in reference.
Let me look it up. Mm-hmm. That's actually a really good question. Was it the wrestler or the singer? So let me just look it up. The answer is the singer.
Yeah, Lazarus Soul 82 says the singer, and I Like Cheesecake says Despacito.
Yes. You're right. They did have a lot of like big celebrity actors to voice the characters and the villains in the earlier seasons. Like Vermilious Scum was Jeff Goldblum. Jeff Goldblum played as like a rat.
Yeah.
I want to see him in the live action movie.
Yes.
If he can have like the whole blue hair thing in Thor, I want to see him as a rat reprising his role in Captain Planet. That would be like the best thing ever.
Right.
Okay.
Yes.
Right then.
Yes, absolutely. That would be amazing. It's like, the
poll has. Damn, the poll. This is not a close vote. So the Live and Wired poll ended about 6 minutes ago, I think.
Oh, okay. So let's actually take a look at the results.
The winner got over 50% of the votes, so no question, they definitely won.
All right.
Okay.
That'd be Ron Perlman.
Oh, well.
Awesome.
Okay. Yeah, that'd be cool.
Last place and second to last both share 10%. One at 4%, Steve Gutterman, one at 6%, Sharon Stone. Jim Carrey pulled away at 38%.
Oh, okay.
The only other one that was remotely competitive there. And we got a GIF from Zarg on YouTube of Pet Detective humping the air saying, "I've got nuclear codes!" Oh, boy. And Blackfoot Bearded Chief says, "None of the above. There shouldn't be another Die Hard movie."
Yeah, wouldn't we like to see that? But unfortunately, because Hollywood is, Hollywood, they're going to say, like...
The ZXKUQYB dropped $10 saying, "Say my name!" God damn it. Creepy. Buy a new cam with a resolution higher than 800 by 600.
Actually, I do have a new camera.
Yay.
Yay.
4K?
I have to double check.
Oh, well, maybe. I don't know.
Cool.
It's becoming a little more common now.
Yeah, they have been. All right, let's discuss about our next set of news. I guess because we're in a bit of a remake kick, let's discuss about another one. So yeah, Jordan Peele. We've discussed about him a handful of times over the past couple of Live and Wired episodes. He's going to be responsible for the brand new Twilight Zone, reboot that's going to be coming out. He's responsible for a couple of other movies that are going to be coming out. One that he is in talks of that he really wants to do is that he wants to make a remake based off of a Clive Barker movie that came out in the 90s. He is interested in doing a remake based off of Candyman. Yes. All right, so Dicker, why don't you read this one?
Okay. One of my favorite horror movies is the Bernard Rose-directed Candyman, a chilling urban horror film adapted from Clive Barker's Books of Blood short story, The Forbidden. Urban has a dual meaning in that the adaptation was moved from England to the now demolished Cabrini, green public housing development in Chicago. Well, while the antagonist is an urban legend in himself, the Candyman, played by Tony Todd, is an artist and son of a slave who has his hands severed and was then murdered with bees, of course, by his lover's father. Released in 1992, the film spawned 2 sequels, the latter being direct-to-video. While lesser known among the horror icons, Candyman is easily one of the scariest. He can be summoned by saying his name 5 times while facing a mirror. And just... wait a minute. Am I safe to read this?
Why?
That...
You're not looking directly at the mirror, Decker.
But the camera is doing so?
Yeah, but not you. If anything, the camera will be killed.
Okay. As for the franchise, it's been dormant for nearly 20 years, and poking around for a revival screening, I learned that the rights have become available once again. TriStar had released the first 2 films while Artisan was behind 1999's Day of the Dead. While I'm unsure who is the current rights holder, it may have reverted back to Clive Barker for all I know. I do know that Jordan Peele is in talks to produce the remake of the film through his Monkey Paw Productions. It's unclear if he plans to direct. Sounds sweet to the sweet to me. Even if highly unlikely, 2 years ago, Rose had openly stated that he'd love to direct a proper sequel to the film and bring Virginia Madsen as Helen. Peele won an Oscar earlier this year in his Get Out screenplay and was also nominated for Best Director. He's currently filming Us Along, another social thriller, while his Monkey Paw Productions is behind a remake of The Twilight Zone, The Hunt, and Lovecraft Country. He also produces this summer's Black Klansman. It was always you, Jordan.
Yes. So, yeah. Yeah, so Jordan Peele, we already talked about how his name is getting really big in horror movies. So, what are your thoughts about him directing a Candyman remake?
Like, not against it, but, kind of like, I don't know.
I mean, can Candyman work in 2018?
Yes, if they don't fuck with it, and they will.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
kind of where I'm at.
Fair enough.
Mhm.
So, I mean, right now they're just in talks of it. Nothing has been concrete. So, it may not even happen for all we know. Maybe Jordan Peele's not even going to be involved with it. This is just something that was just brought up. And, if maybe it does eventually happen, then I'm sure that we'll talk more in detail about it.
Lazarus Soul 82 asks, who will play the Candyman? Who?
That's actually a really good question.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, one major problem with a remake is that, I hear a lot of people complain about is that if the original was really good, people will note things like the acting not being as good, or that the, actors who are cast more for stunt casting than for their acting ability, or it's just the wrong role. So
I mean, even things like the live-action Disney flicks. My fiance put the live-action Beauty and the Beast on, and I don't really know what someone watching just that as their first Beauty and the Beast experience would think. But I've seen the animated one so many times, every single thing that was slightly different just and it was bothering me, and you had to turn it off like 15 minutes in because I was just like,
yeah, Lindsay Ellis did a fantastic video about like all the things that in that remake that they wanted to fix, and it just made it even more stupid.
Yeah,
and I did feel the same way about it. I've already mentioned this a few times on my Disney podcast that I really do love that movie, and I met Paige O'Hara a couple of times, and she was always like really nice. And just the fact that they remade the movie. I mean, at first, when I first saw the teaser trailer, I was like really excited and heard the news about Emma Watson playing as Belle. Coming out from doing Hermione from Harry Potter, I thought it was perfect casting. But then when I saw the movie, it's like concept-wise, it sounded good, but execution is just botched.
Yeah. Plus, there's also, I mean, like, of the Renaissance of the Disney original Renaissance.
So John Ramsey saying Dicker's mind is going to go off if he watches that Beauty and the Beast movie all the way through. I'm thinking we're going to have another car video.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, but like of the four, it's my favorite one. And there's also an underlying problem that I have.
Of the four out of I get it, because of Little Mermaid, Aladdin, Beauty and the Beast,
Aladdin, and
The Lion King.
Right. So of those four, the Beauty and the Beast was my favorite. The problem that I have with the remake, like there is an underlying attitude towards it. Like because the original is animated, it's somehow inferior. Like it needs to be remade into a live action film to have any kind of legitimacy. And I have a problem with that.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of a weird attitude to come out of Disney.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mean, like, even, all the other ones that are going to be coming out soon, it's already becoming, like, a mess. Like, I've been hearing a lot of things about, like, the Aladdin remake that's going to be coming out. There's a lot of controversy in the fact that, they're not casting, Middle Eastern people who are going to be in the role. And they were going to whitewash the casting. It's like, Right. And then there was also Mulan, in a sense, about, there's going to be Mushu in there, but he's not going to be talking. There's going to be no music. And, they're going to try to make it, like, serious. So basically anything that made Mulan such a memorable movie is going to be, like, cut and deveined and just removed.
So I guess the Dora the Explorer film really shouldn't have surprised us with the direction they were talking.
I guess not.
Yeah.
Yes, it is true, Kat Lucina. Mulan will not be having any music cues, like none, zero. No Man Out of You, no, Girl That I'm Fighting For, no, none of those things. Which, no reflection.
Satoshi Katsumoto is asking, Decker, Creepy, and Old School.
Hello?
What is your favorite Dark Age Disney movie?
Ooh, Dark Age. That's really tough.
I don't know what the ages are.
Well, Disney fans have not doubted. They've ranked all the Disney movies into 7 different eras.
I doubt that.
So the Dark Age, it consists of I think it was like after like basically the 70s and 80s Disney movies. So going all the way from like the Jungle Book leading all the way up into Oliver and Company.
I remember the Jungle Book vaguely. That also got live action.
Yes.
Yeah.
And also there's going to be another one coming out, and Andy Serkis is going to be involved in that.
I remember going to see Oliver and Company, and I actually kind of liked it.
Yeah, it was supposed to be like an urban take of Oliver Twist.
Yes. With animals.
Kat
Yeah.
Liniskia says it was after Disney himself died.
So yeah, basically, so yeah, he was alive during the Jungle Book. So I guess if we really want to count like any other movies that he would have, let's see, I guess maybe for some people the Jungle Book doesn't count, although some people do counted that. So I mean, if we are to discuss about that, I guess maybe let's see what they would consider to be like the Dark Age, like I guess.
Now I'm gonna look up to say
Oh, here it is. I guess.
Disney films is. There we go. I'm gonna get me a list.
All right, good.
All right.
Till
Okay.
2011. That's what.
No.
Does not count.
That's not what they're referring to.
Yeah.
Here it is. I found it already. So, if we don't want to count Jungle Book, I guess it would be from the Aristocats to Oliver and Company, because because after Oliver and Company was the Little Mermaid, and that is what considered to be the Renaissance era. So
Right.
yeah. So okay. So if we're not counting Jungle Book, we're going to count the Aristocats, Robin Hood, the Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, Rescuers, Fox and the Hound, Black Cauldron, Great Mouse Detective, Oliver and Company, and that's it.
The one of those that I remember the most, that I've seen the most, and do remember enjoying was Robin Hood.
Right.
Yeah.
Epic Jason also brought up one that I had slipped my mind, which is a really big faux pas for me because I reviewed it. The Black Cauldron, which, yes, I actually did like that movie.
Let's see. I don't know. I mean, that's really tough for me out of all of those. I guess. Yeah, I probably have to say Robin Hood as well. I mean, I know a lot of people really disliked the movie when it first came out in theaters because they were complaining about like the reused animation and the fact that it was like really, not as on par with the classics. But I actually did enjoy it okay for what it was. I did remember some of the characters, and I did remember a lot of the song cues and such. All the other ones, yeah, they just. I guess another one. I guess Fox and the Hound would also be another good one too, but. Yeah, I just found the other ones just to be okay.
I just got a message from Movie
cool.
Geek saying, I just want to make sure you're okay after that Predator review.
Oh.
That's just going to be a thing for a while, isn't it?
We have a comment from Lizards Reviews. Decker Shadow, creepy and old school. Do they charge you to be a creator on Patreon? Can y'all answer?
When you get the Patreon donations, Patreon themselves take a cut, but the cut they take is relatively small compared to other things like Super Chats on YouTube. Google takes 30% of that.
Right.
It's a pretty big cut, but it's also integrated right into that, and it's very easy to do. So if that wasn't there, then I wouldn't be getting nearly as much in donations anyway. So it's like it is what it is. There's all kinds of stuff going on with because. There's so much crazy going on right now on YouTube with the copyright stuff, just striking literally everything. But
yes, I guess what Decker's trying to say is that go over to our next segment, Patricia. Which yes, I will actually do that. So you can start a Patreon. You don't have to pay the guys at Patreon, and if you do have patrons that are donating, then Patreon will take. 5 to 10%, I think. I can't remember exactly much. Exactly how much. I can word talk. Speak about it. And let's see. Ken Mabel said Robin Hood was part of the Xerox era, and you're absolutely right.
And Kevin Burdine says the Black Cauldron was racist because the cauldron was black.
What? Oh yeah, sure. I mean, I guess it's ever since the likes of Dumbo, where they had the crows and Song of the South. So it's yes, it's not black. It is colored. We should have called it the Colored Cauldron.
No, not colored. The people of colored culture.
Sure. And yes, it is true, Satoshi Katsumoto. The Fox and the Hound had Kurt Russell as the Hound, which makes a lot of sense because Kurt Russell was in a few live-action Disney movies when he was in his teens. So that makes a lot of sense. All right, so going over to our next segment, which Decker has segued us into. Uploading to YouTube may get much more strict. The video streaming giant faces daunting legal responses under a new copyright law speeding through European vote.
Yes, 13, Article 13, right?
Yeah, Article 13. That is correct. All right, I'll read this one. YouTube users could find much less content available on the video streaming platform once known for hosting anything and everything. A controversial copyright reform proposal in Europe, a bunch of legislation aimed at updating copyright law for the digital age called the Copyright Directive, was just approved by the European Parliament on Wednesday, meaning it now only has to pass one more final vote before signing into a law that would curtail user-generated platforms across the internet. While copyright directives tackle publishing and licensing articles across a number of industries in Europe, one major provision within it is called Article 13, forces social media platforms such as YouTube, Google, and Facebook to be responsible for unlicensed user-uploaded material. Under Article 13, these companies must take steps to stop users from sharing unlicensed copyright material and proactively detect copyright infringing videos before they're available. For rights holders such as artists and record labels, it's good news and more money. This is good sign for the creative industries in Europe, who has led, says Parliament member Axel Voss, who has led the charge of Article 13 when he said the remarks in the following vote. Others see it as a much grimmer light. From the start, opponents of Article 13 have protested that it will cripple user-driven creation. Memes and rig mixes, for example, which has grown into its own dominating culture on the web. YouTube, where users upload around 400 hours of video content each minute, sure isn't happy about potentially having to tighten its rules or more closely police its content. Today's outcome in the EU copyright debate is disappointing, and we're concerned about the impact of the creative economy across the internet, YouTube Chief Product Officer Neil Mohan said in a tweet. YouTube and Google have yet to issue official comments. Members of the European Parliament voted 438 to 226 in favor of the copyright directive on Wednesday, and the final vote will be conducted by individual EU members countries in January 2019. So yes, my apologies to you, Europe.
Yeah, so that's gonna be fun. Like, it hasn't been an absolute nightmare already with the copyright crap on YouTube right now. We're getting so many strikes a day. I actually sat down with a calculator and tried to figure out, okay, how much of my stuff is already struck? How long does it take me to go through it? How many are coming in per day? How long until absolutely every single video on my channel is either blocked or the ad revenue is going to other companies and I'm simply not able to dispute it because I have to wait months and months for it to go through if I don't want to open myself up to getting 3 strikes at once and losing the entire channel that way.
Yeah.
Well, got 2 months before it's all flagged. So, yay.
Yay.
Does anyone besides me just feel like pulling a Decker and screaming inside of their car?
So,
I mean, at this point, I wouldn't be surprised.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but yeah, we got the things going on. You watching on Live and Wired right now? That's great. Did you notice on the bottom that should be here? Let me scroll down and see if it's actually here. Yes, it is. The Teespring merchandise is up.
Oh, cool.
And if you're willing to spend $15 or more, if you include shipping, for a cup, it's there for you. We have a Live and Wired mug available for purchase.
Yes,
and a sticker that somehow costs $6. Mm. You can't change the prices on Teespring, but it does integrate it into YouTube. So yeah, there's that. It's been viewed a few times, about 200 views so far on the Teespring merch.
Cool.
No purchases, but hey, it's being seen, and that's the start. That's half the battle right there.
There you go. That's great.
So yeah.
All right. Let's go over to our next article. So, I guess we can go back to a horror movie that's going to be coming out.
Mm.
So we got a
God damn
teaser.
it, Epic Jason. It's a 2 orders, 1 cup. That just.
Oh.
See, this is why I need to figure out a t-shirt. But I got to figure out a good t-shirt because it's gonna, no matter what, on Teespring, it's gonna cost like $20, $25 for a t-shirt. So yeah, it's gonna have gotta have a pretty damn good design. I can't just put some freaking text on it saying, "Hi, Deck of Shadow. So, boom, buy this for $25."
Right.
Sure. All right, so here is a first trailer for a new movie called Anna and the Apocalypse. It is Shaun of the Dead meets La La Land, and the first trailer for the Christmas zombie musical you didn't know that you needed.
Christmas zombie musical.
That sounds pretty cool, actually.
Okay, if Disney's not going to have singing in Mulan, at least we can have singing in zombie musicals about Christmas.
Awesome!
I am so happy right now.
I have a restored faith in humanity.
I am so happy right now.
And Jacob Kennedy says, "What the fuck is this shit?"
All right, Creepy, why don't you read it since you're so excited about it?
Okay. Also, real quick, Kat Lunaskia. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. I'm probably not. Decker, if you want, you could commission me. I'm good at T-shirts. So
look and see. I was hoping that the mugs and stickers maybe would move a little, and I'd have something to base off of. Okay, here's the profit coming in. Here's what I can figure out from this. Here's what I can afford for selling for commissioning art for a T-shirt. I don't have that data, and YouTube's paying me less and less, so it's like, yay.
Yeah.
Anna and the Apocalypse went down a storm at the Arrow Video Fright Fest last month, and why not? Christmas, zombies, big tunes, dancing together at last in a feisty UK indie film that is now set for release on the 30th November.
Also, Ken Mybe here says, Decker, try Redbubble. They are better. You can adjust the prices too. And yeah, that would make sense, because if we get the designs going, we don't necessarily just have to stick to one thing. Have the Teespring that's integrated into YouTube. Have a Redbubble that we can adjust prices on. Cafe Press, which has a lot of options. They say it's really bad quality, but give the power to the people to pick what they want.
Right. Mm-hmm. Just in time to give us a shot of adrenaline straight to our Yuletide begrudging hearts, starring Ella Hunt in the titular role of Anna and directed by John McPhail, great last name, off the back of his short film. We can expect blood, mayhem, Justin Bieber getting the fate he arguably deserves, and a glorious soundtrack that is likely to live on past the end credits.
Didn't he already get shot on Law and Order?
Yes.
That one line was worth it too. I just love the idea of this movie. Just that it exists makes me happy.
Mm-hmm.
See, every time you feel like there's just no creativity left in filmmaking anymore, something like this happens, and you're like,
thank you, indie filmmakers. You
Yes.
gave me a little bit of sense of hope. Mm-hmm. All right, but yeah, there's the trailer if you're interested in checking that out. So, yeah, we're going to be getting ourselves a Christmas movie where it involves with zombies and music. That's going to be an awesome review if it ever happens.
At some point, if this does not happen in the film, someone needs to make an AMV of this. Scenes of this movie to Thriller.
Yes.
And Zachary Grieco dropped $2 saying use the Jim Sterling copyright deadlock. And I'm trying to figure out exactly what that means.
Yeah, I'm a little confused by that too.
Mm.
So, I mean, I've been going through YouTube's dispute process and disputing the crap out of all the reviews, and it's annoying because things that I remember that I already disputed and succeeded in disputing from months ago are now being claimed again by the same companies. So.
Mm-hmm. All right, I guess we can go over to our next set of news. So this is actually something that I found a while ago, but I didn't have a chance to showcase like an article of it. And if I did, it was just like an announcement. So Riverdale has become really popular, basically just being like a much more, darker and grittier reboot of, the Archie comics. There we go. And now we're going to get a darker and grittier reboot of Sabrina, the Teenage Witch.
They've actually already done this in comic book form, believe it or not. So this is really just the progression, I guess.
Yeah.
And that is the title of the comic book, Chilling Adventures of Sabrina.
Yeah. And here we have Kiernan Shippa, who's going to be playing as Sabrina. She was also the voice of I think Genova. Yeah, Genova from Legend of Korra. Yeah. So yes, she is going to be our brand new Sabrina. Let's see. So Netflix has revealed the first teaser for the upcoming series Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. This is definitely not your parents' Sabrina the Teenage Witch. If you like horror, you're going to enjoy this show. Check out the footage in the player below and share your thoughts after the jump. It'll be coming out on Netflix on October 26th. So, let's see. Chilling Adventures of Sabrina is based off of the comic book of the same name, which reimagines the origin adventures of Sabrina the Teenage Witch as a dark coming-of-age story that traffics in horror, the occult, and, of course, witchcraft. Tonally in vein of Rosemary's Baby and The Exorcist, this adaptation finds Sabrina wrestling to reconcile her dual nature of half witch and half mortal, while standing against the evil forces that threaten her, her family, and the day world humans inhabit.
Oh boy. Just see in the chat. Fuck, oh god, no. Oh, come on, not Sabrina. Really? Why?
Melissa Joan Hart has to cameo, says Mellow Wendigo. Well, we'll see. I mean, I know that there were talks about a Sabrina reboot for a long time that had Melissa Joan Hart, but I guess because of Riverdale's popularity of kind of like revamping the Archie comics, they decided, let's do the same thing with Sabrina the Teenage Witch. I mean, it's done by the same, company that did the comics of Archie. Let's try to do it here. So,
and Jacob Kennedy says, okay, I can get this, unlike that zombie musical bullshit.
Yeah.
Epic Jason says, how long until they release the gritty reboot of Dr. Quinn Medicine Woman?
Oh, I wouldn't be surprised if that were to happen.
Okay, Zachary. He says, in future videos, use copyrighted items from 2 different sources and they sort of cancel each other out. And I don't think that's true.
That's not how that works. That's not how any of this works.
I wish it did.
That'd be nice. That would be very handy, but...
Yeah. Anyway, so let's see. Kiernan Shipka as Sabrina in the new series, and will be joined by Lucy Davis from Wonder Woman as Hilda, Miranda Otto from Annabelle Creation as Zelda, Chance Perdomo, Michelle Gomez from Doctor Who as Mary.
I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Because I hit 100,000 subscribers, I am allowed to make claims on other people uploading my material, and I also saw what one channel did. It only detected like one video of theirs that they uploaded that was just my video. But they did that like 30 some odd times. But the way they did it is they had the entire video and then they had 50% of the video tacked on at the end of the video. And that confused the Content ID bot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why, but that's not how I would... I mean, I'm not uploading a movie. I'm just trying to do a review. Everything's chopped up. It's not going to help me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. All right. So, basically, that's basically Sabrina in a nutshell.
Yep.
All right.
Christopher McDonald says, they don't cancel each other out, but it's fun to force multiple corporations to fight over your ad revenue. Yeah. I already earlier had Fox saying they owned Star Wars, so...
All right, let's go over to another remake, because we love those, right?
Again!
Hooray! And this time it's another horror remake, one that came out in the 90s. And it's another Stephen King novel adaptation, because we haven't been talking about those before. Okay, but what is it going to be this time? It's going to be, I think we briefly talked about this, but now it's actually confirmed. We're getting a remake of Pet Sematary.
Oh yeah, we talked about this.
Yeah,
but now it's confirmed. The release date is confirmed.
Yay.
And we're getting Zelda.
Yes, we're getting Zelda, Gage, and other stars revealed. So yeah, we did briefly talk about this, but it was kind of like in rumors, but now it's confirmed because we have a release date.
Okay,
So-
John Ratchey's like, oh boy, gonna have to pull out a bottle of strong whiskey for this one. I'll give this a read.
All right,
Stephen
go ahead.
King's Pet Sematary is getting a reboot in 2019 following the huge success of the film adaptation of his horror novel, It. The legendary author's 1983 book, The legendary author's 1983 book, Pet Sematary, hey, that's the year I was born,
Nice.
was first brought to our screens in 1989 big screen adaptation directed by Mary Lambert. Paramount announced they were moving forward with the remake back in October 2017. The Pet Sematary reboot will be directed by Kevin Kolsch and Dennis Widmeyer, and is the latest in a long line of film adaptations of King's books. As well as It, several of his other works have achieved success on the big screen, from The Shining, Misery, and The Boogeyman to Carrie. Hide the kids, hide the critters. Pet Sematary reboot set for 2019 release, says Social in Atlanta.
Mm-hmm.
There are other adaptations of King's novels in the works, including It Chapter 2, In the Tall Grass, Dr. Sleep, The Long Walk, and The Tommyknockers.
Which we did discuss about in previous episodes.
Yes.
I swear, you could have a gay porn parody of that. You would not have to change the name.
Nope. I just wanted on record Decker said that.
The boom in Stephen King film adaptations explains the big names involved in ongoing projects. It Chapter 2 has attracted Jessica Chastain, James McAvoy, and Bill Hader, while the cast for the Pet Sematary reboot includes Jason Clarke, John Lithgow, and Amy Simons. Amy!
Sure.
Yeah. Okay.
There we go.
Set to be released in the US on April 5th, 2019. Originally set the release date for April 19th, but later announced that it was being moved forward to April 5th, although this could still be subject to change.
So yes. Pet Sematary reboot, April 5th.
When is this coming out? Oh,
Oh,
Jacob
yes.
Kennedy says the Sonic movie should have been a Archie comic book movie, like Sonic, the Archie comic book Sonic, and that sounds a lot better.
That would have been great. Absolutely, that would have been amazing. But instead, we have Jim Carrey, Dr. Robotnik, and a realistic Sonic the Hedgehog.
Who has to befriend his cop friend? He's a delinquent. Delinquent.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be in the cop, son.
Don't worry, we're almost finished with
It
this.
doesn't matter if it comes straight to video and I watch it in my house. I'm gonna be in that car.
Hang in there. All right. Next one. Okay, so we did discuss briefly about Final Fantasy 7, 9, 10, and 10-2 coming over to the Nintendo Switch. But there's another game that's also going to be coming in for the PS4 and the Nintendo Switch. That is Final Fantasy. We have Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles.
Hold on just a second. Got a chat from Ken Mybe saying 17 U.S. Code 506, criminal offenses 17 U.S. Code 506, fraudulent copyright notice. Any person who, with a fraudulent intent, places on any article a notice of copyright or words of the same purport, notice such person knows to be false, shall be fined not more than $2,500. And that's true, but in order to be able to pursue that, you see, the way YouTube's dispute process works, the first step is to remove your right to sue them for that. Because you have to say, you can't go forward unless you agree to this, that you believe in good faith that it was made in error. So that only works if you believe that it was made knowledgeably fraudulently. So if you say legally that you believe it was a mistake, then you can't sue them for that. So you have to get the strike, or not get the strike, not get this, unless they go straight to that, which they can. But you have to get the copyright notice, and then don't go through the YouTube dispute process. Just call your lawyer. Then that's an option.
Yeah. Lord of Pearl Trident says, "What the hell? I'm lost. Time warped. Space is broken. I fell back in time to the 90s." Yes, it pretty much has been at this point, hasn't it? And Travis Ray says, "How much y'all want to bet Sonic will be live action?" It is. It is going to be in live action. I know. It's sad. Scott Yoshihara says, "What is your favorite Final Fantasy game?"
Ooh. See, I didn't have a Super Nintendo when I was growing up. I had a Sega Genesis, so I guess Phantasy Star 4.
Sure.
But a lot of people say that the Final Fantasy 3/6, 3 as it was known in America, is like the best. But I didn't get to play it when it came out, and I haven't played it since. So, I played the first 10 minutes, but I haven't played it. So, yeah.
How about you, Creepy?
Believe it or not, it's a toss-up between Final Fantasy 6 and 10.
Cool. That's really tough because I haven't really played a lot of Final Fantasy games. I've only played 4, 6, a tiny bit of 7 when I was in high school, and that was pretty much it. So, yeah, I don't know which one of all of those is my favorite. So I guess I'll have to replay all of the Final Fantasy games, but the one that I enjoyed the most playing was probably 6. All right, so Crystal Chronicles. Why don't you read this one, Creepy?
All right. Square Enix has revealed today that Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles, a 4-player co-op action RPG that originally released on the Nintendo GameCube in 2004, will be coming to the PlayStation 4 and Switch with online play in 2019. You can see the teaser trailer below, which shows the briefest bit of gameplay for the release. The trailer shows players joining together from around the world, confirming that online play will be in the remastered version. This solves a major criticism of the game from its release over a decade ago, where co-op required multiple Game Boy Advance consoles and link cables extending to the GameCube to play. The setup was cumbersome and expensive and limited the game's reach. The title was noticeable for being the first Final Fantasy title on a Nintendo system since Square had cut ties with Nintendo in the mid-90s. In 2001, Sony purchased an 18.6% stake in Square to help bail the RPG giant out after losses from the production and subsequent failure of Final Fantasy: The Spirits Within, which prevented Square from bringing their major series to competing consoles. And this was solved by creating a shell corporation called the Game Designer Studio, the official developer of Crystal Chronicles, which was free to use the Final Fantasy name. The Game Designer Studio was used for other dealings over the years until it finally closed, after serving as a vector to facilitate the acquisition of arcade legend Taito. Final Fantasy Crystal Chronicles Remastered Edition will release on PlayStation 4 and Switch in 2019.
Hooray. Yeah, I remember the setup for a lot of GameCube games were just annoying. You needed to have the Game Boy Advance and you had to plug it in and you had to have a copy of a game and all of your friends had to do the same thing. It was just ridiculous.
I was just frustrated that you had to have the Game Boy player attached to the GameCube in order for it to actually be a cube. Before that, it's just a rectangular prism.
Yeah, pretty much so. And playing Forged Swords is it was so annoying. You needed to have you had to have a person controlling 3 Game Boy Advances, controlling each individual link, and then the Game Boy Advance, it took you into the houses and the caves and all that stuff where you got to see the outside. It's oh man, that was just so annoying. It prevented a lot of people from playing a lot of games that required that. And even the e-reader didn't become a huge success around here because it was just so cumbersome. I'm glad that they were able to fix that issue. Let's just hope that maybe Star Fox Zero could be released on the Switch so we wouldn't have to deal with the Wii U controls.
Gyro waving is fun. Screw all of you.
Okay, that's fine, Decker. All right, let's go over to our next set of news. Going back, I guess since we're in the topic of video games, we must take a moment of silence for our beloved PlayStation 2 will no longer be supported by Sony. Let us give a moment of silence as Sony has decided to no longer support this console.
Well, it only took 17 years.
Sure. Yeah, that's true. And even then, even Nintendo, they supported the game. They supported the NES for 20 for over 20 years until they no longer had the chips and the hardware to fix it anymore. They released the NES around 84, 85, and then they stopped in 2007. So, yeah. It's true. So let's continue. So
Christopher McDonald was saying, wait, it was still supported? Yeah, not only that, new games were coming out for it. Like the new Just Dance game still came out on PS2.
Yeah, it's true. I think like I mean they were even making like games for the PS2 until like I think was the last one was like what, like 2013 or 14 or something. So yeah, they were still releasing games for the PS2 even after the PlayStation 4 came out. So it's crazy. Okay. Go ahead, Decker. Read this one.
All right. The clock is ticking for the world's best-selling console. PS2 owners in Japan, as of August 31st, can no longer send in their consoles to Sony for maintenance, should they need it. According to a report from IT Media via Kotaku, Sony pulled the plug on maintenance services for the PS2 on the last day of August. The service shutdown was announced back in June, but now the time has come. Yes, you'll probably still be able to find plenty of do-it-yourself techies who can repair or mod your PS2, and considering how many PS2s made it out into the world when they were still in production, we don't think you'll have any issue finding one. It's not like the PS2 is dissolving out of existence, Thanos style. It's a sad day, though, as Sony is officially pulling back the system's life support. It's a signal that it's time to move on. Are we going to get the PS5 now?
Eventually.
PS2 will be fondly remembered by us all. It's the console that many of you younger and young adult gamers credit for transforming you into lifelong gamers. It's where many of us learned to play first-person shooters with 2 thumbs. You did that on the PS2.
Well, I mean, to be fair, I mean...
Xbox! Jeez!
It's true, the Xbox, yeah.
It's where many of us fell in love with JRPGs and the Final Fantasy series. PlayStation 1! It's where Devil May Cry had its genesis. Sega Genesis! It was the first freaking machine that could affordably play back DVDs! Okay, you got me there. And perhaps that's why it's one of the few consoles to ever blow past the 100 million sales milestone. Only the PlayStation 2, Nintendo's Wii, and the original PlayStation have managed to sell over 100 million units. Even if you take handhelds into account, only the Game Boy and Nintendo DS managed to wiggle their way into that exclusive club. Surprisingly, we don't see any of the best-selling games of all time on the PS2. We have titles like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, but that game was playable on multiple platforms. Nintendo has a few console-exclusive games topping bestsellers chart, but PlayStation 2 never did manage to claim a true system seller like Nintendo. What are some of your favorite PS2 games or some of your favorite memories with the console? Do you still have your PS2 and is it still plugged in somewhere? Let us know in the comments below. Or maybe if you happen to be live streaming this, just start talking about it. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Yeah, so despite the fact that the PlayStation 2 was being supported for over 15 plus years, it's only now that it's no longer going to be supported, which, for the fact that we have the PlayStation 4, that's pretty commendable.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, I guess, why don't we discuss briefly about some of our favorite games for the PS2?
Oof.
Jak and Daxter trilogy. I must have played those games so many times.
Which one was your favorite?
I played the crap out of the first one, but I never really got into the other Jak and Daxters. I had too much responsibilities. Damn you, youth, and all your jobs you had to have while going to school.
Yeah.
I had, I think my favorite one, it was a toss-up between the second and third one. The first one was fun, but I like the second and third ones better.
Second one had a great story. Third one was able to balance out the bullshit difficulty of the second.
Yes, that's true.
Yeah, that's great. Out of the Ratchet and Clank games, I did play all 4 of them for the PS2. So the third one has always been my favorite. I love Up Your Arsenal. It's such a great game with humor, and it has some of the best weapons in the series.
Patrick Johnson says the PS2 still has one thing the PS4 doesn't: backwards compatibility. Seriously, Sony, just do it.
Yeah. I'd love that.
Dark Necrosis says GTA 3. Man, I played that for hours on end. Hollow Man says Devil May Cry. Kevin Burdine says Bully. Clever Channel Name says Ratchet and Clank. Simon Olson says Kingdom Hearts 2.
Nice.
Travis Ray says Max Payne. It's a good game.
Yeah, Max Payne's good.
Oh God, was that? No, it's like I had a PlayStation 2 and I had an Xbox. So usually whenever anything was multiplat, I'd play it on Xbox.
Yeah. And I believe Twisted Metal was on PS2. I believe so. I think it was like Twisted Metal Black, if I remember, because the Twisted Metal was on the original PlayStation.
Yeah.
Let's see. Patrick Johnson says WWE SmackDown, Here Comes the Pain, NFL Blitz 2000, 2003, Bloody Roar 3, Tony Hawk's Underground. Oh, those are good ones. Star Wars Battlefront. Oh, good one, Jacob Kennedy. And John Ratsey says Star Wars Battlefront 2.
Oh, Eco. I played the hell out of that.
Yeah, Shadow of the Colossus is also good. The Sly Cooper games were also really good. 2 is my favorite. God of War. God of War was also a really good one. I would say that story-wise, the first one was better, and gameplay-wise, the second one was better. Because I did love the variety that the second one was able to give, but the first one had a great story, I felt.
Hollow Man says Dragon Ball Z Tenkaichi 2. I had Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3. Really liked that.
Yeah, those are good games.
Yeah. There was also the Legacy of Kain series, which started out on the PS1. The first 2 games, Soul Reaper, Legacy of Kain, and Legacy of Kain Blood Omen were on PS1. Then Blood Omen 2, Soul Reaper 2, and the finale Defiance were on PS2.
Silent Hill 2, but I just remembered one difference between Tenkaichi 2 and Tenkaichi 3 that I thought was worse than Tenkaichi 3 is they balanced Mr. Satan to have a chance.
Yes.
Like, why? Why give him a jetpack and let him fly? Why give him the ability to actually punch someone out? That's not Mrs. Satan.
No.
The fact is, he's not in the game, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the hell this asshole is, but it's not Mrs. Satan.
Yeah, and Satoshi Katsumoto says, we cannot forget the majesty of Kingdom Hearts. Yes, that's true. Yeah. Kingdom Hearts 1 and 2 were great.
That is true.
Jesse Guajardo says, Killzone. That's also a good one, too. Mm-hmm. Darth Necrosis says, got Playboy the Mansion and the Guy... Oh, no.
Scott Yoshihara asks, random question, but what's your favorite scary movie?
Oh, wow.
Nice one, Decker.
Yes.
My favorite scary movie, Scream.
Good one.
Oh, boy. I'm trying to think, because it's like, yeah, that's a problem. I overthink, because it's like, there's so many, and how do you rank it? How do you rate it?
What child do you want to choose?
Yeah. Yeah. Dang it. I don't know. Jacob Kennedy's like, Alien! I don't know if he's talking for himself or for me,
but... let's see. Then Jacob Connor says, okay, what is your least favorite movie?
Horror
movie.
Jesus.
What's your least? I know what it's gonna be. Horror movie. Probably horror movie. Really bad horror movie. Wishmaster 4. Alien Origin is a sci-fi, so that doesn't count.
Don't even say the name.
Oh, okay. No, okay.
So, anywho, I'm just saying, like, PlayStation 1, I really like playing that on PlayStation 2 because the backwards compatibility on the PlayStation 2 for the PlayStation 1 games actually played at higher resolution, faster load times, and smooth textures. Yeah. Really nice. So some games ended up looking pretty damn good. Road Rash 3D looks kind of chunky on the PlayStation. Looks a lot better on PlayStation 2. What else? PlayStation 1 games are played the hell out of. Road Rash 3D is like, yeah. Bushido Blade.
Ooh, Bushido Blade, yeah.
And what was the other one that was in my brain, but I don't know because I'm dumb? Dang it. I don't know.
Let's see. I played a lot of the Crash games and the Spyro games and Metal Gear Solid. I've played through the first couple of Tekken games. Let's see what else I played for the PS1. There's a lot, but yeah, there's. I mean, I can discuss all about the games that I played for the PlayStation 2. In fact, I actually did a podcast on that a few years ago. You can go check that out. But John Ratsey says, Decker, you're not dumb. Your brain is refusing to let you use it.
That's abuse it. Try and recall your happy childhood. It's like, I don't want to go there. It's like, damn it, this is the good part. Let's go.
Satoshi Katsumoto says, Genji Dark of the Samurai. Is that what it was, Decker?
No.
No?
How? That's a very specific thing. Oh, God.
Well, while Decker thinks about it, I'll go over to another bit of news.
Real quick.
Kevin Burdine asked, Creepy, have you seen the movie Time Bandits? It's a dark children's film. Yes, I have, but it has been a very long time.
Bust a Groove.
Oh, Bust a Groove is pretty good. Parappa the Rapper, Bust a Groove, those are really good dancing games. Yeah.
And no one can stop Mr. Domino.
All right, so let's discuss about some more sequels to a horror franchise. I know that Decker has been getting a ton of requests to do the Hatchet movies. Well, looks like he's going to be possibly.
I did like the first one and no others.
Yeah,
and it's like do the Hatchet movies. I'm like, okay, and I look them up, and it's like this is going to cost me $60 to get the rest of these. Shit.
Yeah. Well, guess what?
Movies.
Well, guess what? You're going to be dealing with possibly more sequels.
Oh, great.
Adam Green says Victor Crowley will return in future Hatchet sequels. And I'm going to scroll down.
God, Dark Necrosis says the Strike games, Nuclear Strike and Soviet Strike, were so damn good. And they're like the last of the Strike games, I think.
Okay, Adam Green's Hatchet was a pretty big deal when it came out in 2006. Much like Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses, Hatchet was one of the first films to feature horror legends from the past, such as Robert Englund, Tony Todd, and Cade Hodder as Victor Crowley.
The man, the legend, Cade Hodder.
Only this time in a completely independent film. It also wielded incredible practical effects and a...
I'm sorry, Kevin Burdine said Dance Dance Revelation, and I'm just thinking of Revelations, but it's a dancing game with starring Jesus.
Oh. Oh, boy.
It's raining fire from the sky, and you gotta hit the notes in time.
Wow. Whew. Okay. It wielded incredible practical effects and a lighthearted tone in a time when everything was released was cold and heartless. Think films like Captivity. It was perfectly timed for us genre fans and earned its place in horror history. However, none of the sequels have delivered, with each and every one digressing into last year's awful Victor Crowley. Opinions aside, it was allegedly a success for Green, and distributor Dark Sky Films as a director is promising more sequels, presumably starring Danielle Harris, who randomly appeared at the end of the last film.
Really?
Yeah, that should be interesting. In a new interview to hype Hatchet's premiere in UK's Horror Channel this Friday, which at the time of this article was already passed, Green reveals that Crowley, who was shredded by an airplane jet engine, will be back. Can't say how he survived, but okay.
All his pieces are just gonna fall just right together in a vat of like aloe vera.
Sure. Okay. A major reason why the Hatchet sequels have succeeded is that they were planned out from the very start. In the first film, I actually showed some of the weapons that Victor Crowley wouldn't actually use until later films, and I held back crucial elements of his mythology to be revealed down the road. Of course, it was a risky move given that there was no way of knowing if I'll ever make the other sequels. Originally, I had only planned for Hatchet to be a trilogy, but then I decided to bring Victor Crowley back for more. I planned out another complete roadmap for where it could go, he continued. I've been able to stay in love with Victor Crowley because I only head back in his swamp when I'm ready to do so. Given that Hatchet is a cult franchise and not a studio property, my crew and I have always been able to make each film only if we want to. So, yes, we might be getting some future Hatchet sequels with Victor Crowley.
Interesting.
Yes.
I have to finish watching Hatchet desperately.
Yeah, because now there's more sequels coming.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Jake Sustis says it's just a flesh wound. Yeah, because I mean, seriously, that guy looks like he's cut up, man.
Right.
And Jaden Connor says sequels for you and sequels for you, sequels for everyone. Yes, more sequels and reboots and remasters. Oh my.
Oh boy.
Darth Necrosis says plot twist: Daniel Harris's character was from the Halloween universe and sets up Michael Myers versus Crowley.
Dun dun dun.
That'll be kind of cool.
It'd be a lot better than what happened to Jamie Lloyd in the Halloween franchise.
True.
Yeah.
Especially moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Okay, so let's discuss about another horror movie that will be coming out to Netflix, and it's going to be a new property, so don't worry. This is not a reboot or a remake or whatever. It's a movie that's been delayed for a long time because of Harvey Weinstein and his company. It's called Polaroid. Last October, Polaroid had featured its first trailer with a Thanksgiving release date, but because of the accusation of Harvey Weinstein and the company Dimension Film was aiming to release it, it was quietly pulled from release, but Netflix may have secured a deal to release the film on its streaming service. So Polaroid, the movie is based off of the award-winning short by Lars Klevberg. The story mixes elements from The Ring and Final Destination to create one of the most unique and scary films. The film stars Catherine Prescott from Finding Carter, Mitch Pileggi from The X-Files, Grace Zabriskie from The Grudge, Tyler Young from Eyewitness, Keenan Tracy from Bates Motel, Samantha Logan from The Fosters, Priscilla Quintara from Stranded, Madeline Petch from Riverdale, and Javier Botet from Mama and It. If the deal goes through, it wouldn't be the first time that Netflix stepped in to rescue a film that could have faced financial disappointment. Earlier this year, the third film in the Clover franchise, The Clover Paradox, debuted a commercial during the Super Bowl, which announced it will be available on Netflix immediately after its release. While this release strategy fit in line with the franchise's unconventional marketing strategy, reviewer aggregator site Rotten Tomato calculated that the movie only earned 17% positive reviews. Despite the poor critical reception, one executive at Paramount Pictures claimed that the experiment was a success. The movie was finished. We all reviewed it together with J.J. Abrams and his team. We all decided that there were things about it that made us pause about its commercial playability with the traditional matter. Polaroid is not the only PG-13 to find itself in the middle of a controversy. There was also the Slender Man movie. And there's going to be more details about the Polaroid movie. And so we might be getting a release of it on Netflix. So no information about the plot too much or its trailer, but should be interesting. Darth Necrosis says, I first thought it was that creepy Robin Williams film. No, that's called 1 Hour Photo. 1 Hour Photo, yeah.
Mm-hmm. And yes, it is supposed to be a very creepy film. It was like no one took the idea of Robin Williams starring in a horror movie seriously until they went to see the film, and they were all came out like, no, it's the scariest movie I've seen in years.
Right.
And Jacob Kennedy says, Decker, do you think RC from Transformers Prime was hot? And I don't know who that is. And for some reason, when I first looked at that, I thought I read it. Do you think Arse from Transformers Prime was hot? Which I was going to say yes.
RC was a female Transformer created for the animated series after the show received complaints that it did not have any female characters in it.
They're robots.
Yeah. And
that's one reason why I really want to write a book just going over just science fiction media and how it depicts things that people tend to understand well and they immediately go to versus how things would logically actually work. And I want to call it robots with tits.
I would highly recommend that you check out this amazing podcast called Imaginary Worlds, which just delves into the science fiction and about how we suspend our disbelief, done by Eric Molinsky, whom I know because I interviewed him last year for an As Told by Ginger podcast called We're in Between, because he was a storyboard artist there. But now he does podcasts about science fiction, and it's actually really interesting if you're interested in checking that out. I would love to have him as a guest in the future if I can get a hold of him again. But yeah, Robots with Tits podcast discussing about science fiction. That'll be amazing. That'll be awesome. Okay.
How does gender work in a robot? Do they actually like lubricate and motion?
Sure. All right. Well, Decker goes philosophical about that. I guess we can go over to our next bit of news. And, I think that we're already reaching at this point. So let's finally discuss about the Halloween movie that it recently was shown at the Toronto Film Festival, and it's getting really good reviews, calling it the best. Go ahead.
Sorry, as a comment from Wences Acosta saying, to Creepy and Decker, thank you both for your vids helping me on my depression. They really have helped me, and even Creepy's well wishes meant the world to me. Just goes to show the little things help.
Aw, that's very sweet.
Yeah, very welcome. And Creepy, you're a little thing.
John Ratsey says that should be the name of the next episode of Live and Wired, Robo Titties. Yes, if I find a news article discussing about that, like maybe a scene from Austin Powers in which they had like the robot, nipples shooting bullets, then
we got limited to no ads on this. Let me dispute that.
Yeah, I will definitely consider that.
No, seriously, we do. I got to request a review now. I confirm my video is suitable for all advertising. I'm pretty sure we're not done with it yet, but what we have done is thank you.
Okay, so go ahead with this one, Decker.
Okay. Midnight is always the right time to freak out festival audiences. What if it's just like a normal kind of happy festival, and you just wait till midnight, like you're at the Ren Fair and it's midnight, and you start just pulling out knives and screaming and chasing people down in hallways. This is not going to be a good time. Late Saturday night, Halloween screened its epic bloody finale at the Toronto International Film Festival, an event that also welcomed its star, Jamie Lee Curtis, to the stage 40 years after her original film hit theaters. A masked Michael Myers was also there, creeping out an electrified festival crowd by appearing in the shadows on stage before the first frame rolled. This Halloween, in theaters October 19, extends its freaky franchise to a new generation. Laurie Strode, Curtis, is now a grandmother who has alienated her daughter, Judy Greer, and granddaughter, Andy Machkak, with her extreme overprotection. Michael is in a high-security prison. They argue, it's time to let the past go. It's like that thing with H2O, except this time it's with two ladies of different ages.
Right.
That's before the serial killer breaks out and launches out a fresh massacre that got the Toronto audience alternately cheering and shrieking.
Yeah. Apparently, from what I read on the, on the people who actually were at the Toronto Film Festival watching this movie, it got like a standing ovation because the cast and crew were also over there, and there was like a Q&A and such. So yeah, it was apparently a bit of a success. And we haven't done this in a very long time, but I thought we could play a little game. I actually pulled out 5 different articles reviewing both H2O and the 2018 Halloween movie. And you guys will have to tell me which one are they discussing about first, because the plot kind of like sounds the same, except that it's divided by 20 years. So let me see if I can just pull this out, and I'll just read snippets of it. I'm not going to give away the whole thing.
Right.
From Halloween. Is it from Halloween 2018? Let me see if I can find it. Here it is.
Getting Robo Patricia and freeze frames going on.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Here.
Yeah, sorry. I guess
it's just going to add extra difficulty to the quiz.
Jesse Waharo, yes, I am going to review Scooby-Doo and the Loch Ness Monster. I'm sorry, I need to throw that out there real quick. Go ahead.
Am I sounding less robotic now?
Yes, thank you.
Great. Fantastic. Okay, so let me see.
Satoshi Katsumoto says, hopefully in this, I hope that this involves Michael finally fucking dying! It's good. Kind of like H2O did, but...
Okay, here we go. So let's start this off with an article from the Movie Report. Perhaps the most indelible image of John Carpenter's 1978 chiller Halloween was that of 17-year-old babysitter Laurie Strode, played by Jamie Lee Curtis, cowering in a corner of a crudely locked closet while the boogeyman, aka Michael Myers, stabs his way through the doors. Flash forward many years later to this movie. The most memorable sight, well, it's the same but older Laurie, openly inviting, or rather daring, her unseen tormentor to show his white mask with a piercing wail of Michael. Cinema's most famous Scream Queen is back, louder than ever, but now infused with a strong dose of girl. Make that girl power. Which is it from?
I'd say H2O.
Kirby?
I'm gonna go with H2O.
You guys are correct. It is from H2O. This was written.
That was that scene we talked about previously. Michael.
Yeah.
Michael.
What?
Yes. But yeah, this is. But seriously, I want you to take a look at this like line right here that he wrote. This was written back in 2000. But seriously, the Scream Queen is back with a strong dose of girl power. Like, girl. Like, what?
What the fuck?
I mean, seriously, what? Why? Next.
Next, please.
Yes. Okay. Next one we have is from Roger Ebert. Oh, this ought to be fun.
Yeah.
Okay, let me just.
Well, then we kind of already know because he's not here anymore. This is going to be H2O.
Well, I mean, it could be from Roger Ebert's website. I mean, after all, it's still in running.
Mm-hmm.
You said from Roger Ebert.
Yes, it's from RogerEbert.com.
Okay.
RogerEbert.com website. As much as I hate to say this, the people behind the new sequel to John Carpenter's Halloween really understand what made the first film a masterpiece. Their highly anticipated take on the legend of Michael Myers is admirable in its thematic relation to Carpenter's vision, but the no-nonsense, tightly directed aspect of the influential classic just isn't part of this one. Carpenter's movie is so tautly refined that sometimes the sometimes incompetent slackness of this one is just more frustrating. It completely lacks the atmosphere of the original and the strength of the original. In the first movie, you hear the crunch of the leaves and the smell of the fall in the air. This one feels like a movie.
How the fuck did he smell that movie? Okay, I'm sorry.
Okay, this one feels like a movie, never transporting you or offering the tactile terror of the story of The Shape. There is some female empowerment story of trauma that's interesting, but it's underdeveloped. You know what the biggest sin of the new Halloween is? It's not scary, and that's one thing that you could never say about the original.
I did.
So, what do you say?
I said that. I got a lot of shit for saying that, but I said it.
All right, so which is this from? Is this from H2O or Halloween 2018?
See, that's a tougher one. It could be H2O. I haven't seen 2018, of course, to see it too much, but it seems like 2018 is going to have a bit more of a spooky aspect to it. I would think that from what little I've seen, the potential for it to not be this description is still there, whereas this description could sort of fit in H2O.
Mm-hmm.
Because they really didn't have much of Stalker Myers.
Right.
Well, all right. So have you guys made your decision yet?
And this sounds like the words coming out of Ebert's mouth, so I'm going to assume he was actually alive, so I think this is H2O.
Okay, creepy.
Like, I really am not saying. I'm gonna have to go with H2O again. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
It sounds really unoriginal, but yeah, I'm gonna say H2O.
All right. Sorry, guys. This is actually from Halloween 2018, and this was not written by Roger Ebert. It was written by Brian Tallarico, and it was dated September 10th, 2018. So this was from the newer Halloween movie.
All
But
right.
seriously, this does sound like something that Eber would say. You can hear the crunch of the leaves and the smell of fall in the air.
They didn't crunch those leaves, by the way. They had very few of them. They were needing to use them for multiple scenes. No one stepped on the damn things. Well, okay, maybe the Foley guys had some crunching. Okay, you don't actually hear them stepping on it. But.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was really, I mean, the first line, it does say, like, I'm not sure that David Gordon Green, Danny McBride, and the people behind it. So I couldn't say that, otherwise I would have spoiled it. But yeah, this is from Halloween 2018. Mm-hmm. So, all right. Okay, let me just pull up.
Okay. Jake asks, Creepy, what happened to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle reviews?
Oh, well, the first two are still on my channel, I think. I stopped doing movie reviews and started doing retrospective reviews because, honestly, there were just a lot more TV shows that I knew more about than there were movies, and honestly, people seem to respond to those better. So I just haven't picked the Ninja Turtle series back up yet.
That's completely fair.
Mm-hmm.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle.
Power.
Okay, I'm gonna bring up one more. So this one is from Entertainment Weekly. Long live Michael Myers. So maybe somebody can finally kill him in a big, funny, super meta sequel that brings it all back to John Carpenter's iconic 1978 original. Forget about what you know or should have wiped from your browser. Fuck. I ruined it. Ruined it. I said browser. It's... Damn it. All right, yeah. It's from 2018. Okay, but still...
Steve DeLee says Michael Myers killed people because he ate wrong. Not enough vitamins or zinc. And I'm thinking, no, do not remind me of Halloween Resurrection. I gotta review it still. Don't.
Yeah. But I actually like this article. It's talking about like how it's a faithful, fundamental sequel, and it's very funny because of being meta and stuff. But I do have one more. I'm just gonna pull it up.
Talking about being meta makes me start thinking H2O, but then you slip browser like.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, damn it. Okay. Let me just see if I can try to go through this. Okay, so this one is from Cinemaphile. This movie of Halloween comes off as a big surprise, considering that the previous movies only two of the previous movies were worth recommending. But it still works. This is a film that ultimately proves that perhaps, for right now, there's still some life left in this slasher formula. It borrows the simple craftsmanship that works so well with the previous Halloween movies and manages to freshen it up to where we're not just watching a formulaic and uninspired film. It has pesky tidbits, but the movie is so watchable and fun that there's no fuss in the fact that it's very predictable. You can walk away and saying that it was a very clever movie.
Huh. I'm going to have to go with 2018 on that one.
Okay.
Because I'm pretty sure that H2O was kind of formulaic.
Okay. How about you, Creepy?
I'm going to go with Resurrection.
Sure. Something that's not less... Sure. Okay. Okay.
You just want to remind me of Resurrection again, don't you?
I just wanted to pour salt into that word.
All right. So it is actually from H2O.
And
look at when it was uploaded. It was uploaded on August 14th, 1998. So literally, as of yesterday, this article is 20 years old.
Damn.
Yeah. It's
but
crazy.
I apologize to everyone but Decker. I just wanted to pour salt into that.
Oh, I actually love this last paragraph right here. The movie works, but that's all there is to it, partially because the story is familiar, partially because the series, to a certain extent, has been somewhat enjoyable over the years, but mainly because of Jamie Lee Curtis. Here is a woman who refuses to return to the series unless there's a decent script came along. She's been missing since part 2. If she has the guts to return now, doesn't that say something? So, yeah, I mean, at this point in time, with her only wanting to return unless there's a decent script. So, yeah, I mean, I know that Jamie Lee Curtis
Resurrection, but that was a contractual thing. According to the people behind the movie, when it was coming out, they're like, you know what? She only had to do 30 seconds, but she wanted to stick around because she was so impressed with the screenplay. She believed in this movie. And according to her, she was contractually obligated to only do 30 seconds, but she did longer so that she wouldn't have to do any more. This would be the last one she would have to do.
Yeah.
Right.
Not anymore. All right. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for our little game. Sorry I flubbed up the other one, but nonetheless, that was a lot of fun. All right. So let's go over to our next one. I guess since we're in a bit of a horror kick, let's go over to...
And Ken says that the new Halloween movie is going to suck balls. Keep getting your hopes up, because they are going to get crushed.
Yes. Well, thank you very much for being so honest about your thoughts. All right, let's discuss about our next bit of news. This one we actually did discuss about a while ago, but now we're getting some more feedback. So the Are You Afraid of the Dark movie that we did discuss about a while ago, the one that's going to be coming out in 2019, the film will not be featuring stories from the series. Instead, it's going to be featuring original stories, which, okay, I'm perfectly fine with.
I actually am too, because, I mean, if they take the, stories from the TV series and they remake them, people are, I mean, like, what's the point?
It'll be just like the Twilight Zone movie all over again.
Right, and, why not just go back and watch the show then? Why bother going to a theater or watching the movie when you can see the original ones, which a lot of people are probably going to say the originals were much better. So, yeah, I'm okay with this.
Yes, I can continue this.
All right. Well, let's read to see what they have to say. In an interview with Slash Film, its co-writer Gary Doberman has revealed that Paramount's upcoming horror film Are You Afraid of the Dark is going to be based off of it will be not adapting any episodes from the series, but will instead feature a completely new story, which will still be told by the Midnight Society. It's a completely original story I came up with, but it still has the Midnight Society and it still has the campfire. It's a story being told. The show is so important to me, I didn't want to age it down too much because of its time. It had some really disturbing episodes and some really dark episodes. Not every story from the Midnight Society told ended with a happily ever after or a person learning their lesson and it'll never happen again. I embrace that side of things, and it's been a long time. I think fear is healthy for kids. I don't think we have to always sand down the edges of things, and that's something I really want to do with Are You Afraid of the Dark. I think it's scary, and I think kids will be scared watching it at times, and also they'll laugh at times. I think it's got a great message, it's got a great heart to it, but it's still scary. I think it's great. I think it'll open up to a wider audience. Are You Afraid of the Dark film will be written by its screenwriter Gary Doberman and based off of the Canadian horror anthology series that ran on Nickelodeon from 92 to 96. Even though technically it was 92 to 96, and then around 97, they re-brought it back, and then it ended in 2000. But
Right.
Who's counting that? The series featured a group of teenagers who called themselves the Midnight Society, who would gather around a campfire at the beginning of each episode to tell a scary story, ranging from abandoned houses to vampires and killer clowns to witches. Both series feature a group of teenagers who call themselves the Midnight Society, which we already discussed about. The group would gather around the campfire at the beginning of each episode, and one of the teens who would say, submitted for the approval of the Midnight Society, I'll call this story name of episode. They'll toss the midnight dust, which is actually coffee creamer, on the campfire. The audience would then see the story unfold. The stories were all scaries, from abandoned houses to vampires to witches, which we already went through. Yeah. And the movie will be coming out on October 11th, 2019. So,
I'm actually a little excited for this.
I just heard that they weren't actually going to be having anything from the thing, so I was like, okay, fuck it, I'm going.
I mean, technically, if you remember, there was supposed to be an Are You Afraid of the Dark movie that would have came out like after the show's run was over. DJ McHale called it The Tale of the Wicked Gift. It was about the boogeyman and Mr. Sardo, but the movie didn't.
Darth Necrosis is asking, is there a cat on Decker's bed, or am I imagining that? And
no, that's a cat.
Yeah, that's Tara. It's funny that she's just right there, and you can see her through the mirror.
Right. One thing I remember about Are You Afraid of the Dark, and I don't know if I've really covered this, although we've talked about the show many times.
Sure.
Is, not all the episodes were exactly scary, but the show in general was creepy. And this is me talking here. It could leave you, even if you didn't exactly feel scared, it could leave you with an unsettled feeling, with a feeling of just, suddenly not wanting to be alone in the room with the lights off.
Yeah. One of my favorite episodes that had an ambiguous, dark ending was The Tale of the Chameleon. Tia and Tamara were actually in this episode, if you remember from Sisters.
Wait. Is that the one I'm remembering? I don't know. There was some kids' spooky stories thing I remember seeing when I was really young, and there's this thing they were talking about chameleons, and every single time they had a chameleon, it was a fucking iguana.
Yes, it was actually an iguana. You're right. So Tia and Tamara were actually in this episode, and it was supposed to be about that there was this chameleon, or it was actually an iguana. You're right, Decker. It actually turned into the character, and it was able to replicate her so well, but she kind of acted in a really evil sort of way. And so the best friend was saying,
"I got iguanas. That's what happens."
Yes, I know. That's what happens. So basically, she had to spray the lizard in water so that it can be able to revert back. And so it did. And so she basically just threw the lizard into a well as much as a bunch of others. And then just that's going to be it. That's the ending. But no, it actually turns out that the girl was actually the lizard in real life. And then she was pulling up the lizards that she did dump. And then it was all safe. And then she's like, "Oh, our little friend down there, I just hope she can swim." And then it just pans out. It's the girl actually did turn into the lizard and she drowned. And the girl who's not the girl is actually the chameleon or iguana. And the story ends just like that.
Right.
And Get Got says, "Y'all fucking nerds." Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, at this point in time, are you really surprised?
I mean, yeah.
Our idea of fun and possible career is to go online and talk about movies and games.
Pretty much.
Yes.
And yeah, basically, I mean, there was a lot of episodes that did not have any happy endings. It was sometimes kind of really.
Lizards Reviews asks, "Who threw me in a well?"
I don't remember if it was either Tia or Tamara who played that role, but it was definitely one of them. Let's see. Scott Yoshihara said, "What is your favorite show? Are You Afraid of the Dark or Goosebumps?" I believe that we've answered this question before, but to reiterate, I like Goosebumps as the book series. I like Are You Afraid of the Dark as the TV series.
Yeah.
I'll just say. Let's see. Daniel DB631 says, "Nerds!" Thank you.
Oh, boy.
Spicy Boy says, "What a nerd. Give me your lunch money, twerp."
Oh, boy.
Sorry.
I was so happy when I got my computer.
Have a few cents.
Place. I found my Pokemon Go Plus. I was like, "Oh, I always been looking for that."
Wences Acosta says, "Creepy. Are you aware of an excellent Scooby-Doo joke in Daria season 4? I think you even brought that up. Remember? It's would have gotten away with it too if it went for those meddling kids."
Yes, I remember that. The first time I ever heard that, I was just so happy.
Yeah. Okay.
So when I got up, I either went to the bathroom or went to the bathroom with my butt instead of the front. But
All right. I think we have about 10 more minutes, so let's just wrap things up.
Right.
Okay, let's go over to some YouTube news. Oh wait, I have one more. I have one more video game news and then YouTube news. So yay. Okay, so a bit of more video game news and then YouTube news because great. All right, so let's go over to a video game series that's going to be coming out as a TV series. So Alan Wake, which was that game for the Xbox.
So is this video game news or TV news?
Both. I guess technically. Because Alan Wake was a video game that came out, I believe, on the 360, and now it's going to get its own TV series.
John Ratsey's asking us thoughts on Darksiders 3. I really liked the first Darksiders. I played the crap out of it. I got Darksiders 2 on Wii U, which has the best item management, but the worst actual performance. So I'd like to get Darksiders 2 on something else. I think I might already have it on PC, actually. Steam summer sales or something else. Or I might have it on PS4, because PlayStation Plus games or something else. Darksiders 3, I am very much looking forward to. I don't know. I haven't been following it too much, but I like what I have seen so far.
You have a $2 comment from Eddie Herda who says, Decker, would you like Predator if Xeno had ending?
I don't think that would... I mean, it would have been a better ending than what it was, but it would have still been just a sequel bait ending. And the vast majority of that I did not enjoy myself.
Yeah. Okay, so Creepy, why don't you read this one?
It would give me one less thing to scream about, though.
Sure.
That's true. Among the many games that I wish had done better and gotten a sequel is Alan Wake. The game was an interesting blend of the Stephen King and Twin Peaks that created a fascinating world, even if the game mechanics weren't all that great. Well, now we'll be able to experience all the best parts of Alan Wake, as it could become a TV series. According to Variety, Alan Wake is being adapted to TV by Peter Calloway, a writer on Cloak and Dagger and Legion, as a showrunner with game creator Sam Lake serving as executive producer. Sam Lake as infamously played by the grizzled face of Max Payne. Okay. What's interesting about the planned series is that it won't just be a retelling of the game. According to Thomas Harlan, partner in production company Contradiction Films, the series will take elements from both the original game and the sequel that was never developed to create a new narrative. Alan Wake will still be the central figure and the show will still delve into the world introduced in the first game. It
just wouldn't be a one-to-one adaptation.
Damn you, spelling errors.
Right.
Jason, what did...
In the original Alan Wake, Alan is a best-selling novelist who retreats to the countryside to try and unravel the mystery surrounding his wife's disappearance. However, his investigation is impeded when creations from his novels start to come to life.
Jason, get Grammarly, please.
No word on when or where the Alan Wake series could pop up, but they say that they will begin shipping it to networks this October. Stay tuned for more.
Jaden Connor says, "Oh God, this show is going to suck balls."
Oh man, there's got to be at least one comment saying every time there's a chance of a possible sequel, reboot, remake, remaster, or something brand new, it's gonna suck. It's gonna be.
Eddie Herda says the Predator was cool if you just leave your brain at home and say, "Fuck it, the Predators are parasites distracting humans."
Right. Okay, so Alan Wake could be getting a TV series. You know, I remember when I first heard about Alan Wake, it's like, you know, it's a guy walking around in a flashlight and looking for stuff and it's supposed to be scary. I mean, I know it was an Xbox 360 exclusive from what I remember. I only heard about it from people who played it, but I didn't really, it wasn't like a household name in terms of like horror. So I knew a lot of people like have heard of it, but some have only played it, and I guess it always had like that cult following. So now that they're going to be getting a TV series, I guess they're going to be utilizing its full potential. Maybe
be interesting.
We'll see.
Oh, God, Lizard Trick is like monkey go fucking happy too.
Let us not do that anymore. All right, one more thing right before we get over.
Kathleen Iska says, "I thought she said fleshlight." Totally different game.
No. I said flashlight, not fleshlight. No. All right, just one more bit of news right before we go over to the YouTube stuff, which, yay. Mm-hmm. Okay, so I think it was either the last live stream or the previous one. We discussed about that Oliver Harper is doing a documentary based off of 80s action movies.
Oh, yeah.
So now there's going to be an actual, well, I mean, Oliver Harper's not a part of this one, but there's another documentary that's going to be coming up, and there's going to be an upcoming Kickstarter to it. It's called In Search of Darkness, the documentary that dives deep into the 80s horror movies. So yeah, we already have an upcoming documentary about action movies from the 80s. Now we have one about horror movies from the 80s. So go ahead, Decker, read this one.
All right. In Search of Darkness is a love letter to 1980s horror movies in the form of a documentary. The teaser for the doc begins with some vintage footage of TV journalist Barbara Walters asking, mutilation, decapitation, torture. Does this sound entertaining? Of course it does! The 1980s was a weird time, but thankfully we had some of the best horror movies ever made come out during that decade. The works of Cronenberg, Junza, Carpenter, Barker, and a lot more are all explored in the upcoming documentary. After the Barbara Walters news footage, the In Search of Darkness teaser turns into a giant collage of everything 80s. Freddy from A Nightmare on Elm Street shows up right next to a Nintendo Entertainment System commercial, and then Michael Jackson's Thriller. Clips from Halloween 2, The Stuff, Chud, The Fly, Child's Play, Creepshow, and Evil Dead 2 are just a fraction of the clips that get thrown at us in a little over a minute. Though it's just a collection of clips at the moment, In Search of Darkness drives home just how many horror classics were released in such a short amount of time. In Search of Darkness takes the 1980s horror genre and looks at it through a cultural lens. Most of the films from that era were a different reaction to the times. Direct reaction to the times. The theme of greed is common in the majority of the movies, taking a mirror and turning it towards society. Lifestyles of the rich and famous, along with Donald Trump, became the benchmarks for success in American culture, as at the time the horror movies gave us the chance to see the horror within society and within ourselves. In Search of Darkness is about to launch a Kickstarter campaign to reach as many horror fans as possible. Not only that, but they want to cover a lot of material from the posters and VHS covers that make you pick out the film in the first place, interviews with the directors and writers that delivered the material, and then the context in which the 1980s horror genre took place. The official overview of the documentary reads.
Yeah, and there's a little bit more. Right over here is the Twitter page of the In Search of Darkness documentary, and you can actually see a teaser trailer to it, which we were discussing about. In a few days, they will be releasing the Kickstarter for this documentary. So if you are interested in seeing a documentary on 80s horror movies, then please go check it out. I'm sure that maybe when it is officially released, maybe we'll plug and promote it.
And Ken Mighty says, Barbara Walters is a cunt.
Okay. Sure.
Oh, boy.
All right. Now let's go over to some YouTube news, which, unlike most of them, which I just despise and dread reading, this one is actually really interesting that I would like to have a conversation about.
Oh, I'm sorry. Spicy Boy says Decker's voice when he is reading should be bottled and sold as an aphrodisiac. And then Daniel DB631 says they tried to bottle Decker's reading voice. It didn't end well. Let's just say the body count rose.
Wow. All right. Well, anyway, this actually came out a few days ago, and I actually am curious about what your thoughts are. So, YouTubers heading for burnout. The most fun job imaginable becomes deeply bleak. Why are so many YouTubers finding themselves stressed, lonely, and exhausted? So it's a very, very long article. I'll just let you know that. But it actually just boils down to the fact that people who do YouTube for a living, at first they absolutely loved it because it gives them an opportunity to create and to put out things that they're passionate about. But because YouTube has changed so many times over the years, and people are in demand for more and more content, that people are just getting really, really tired. People are suffering from burnout. They're suffering from stress. They're suffering from, basically from writer's block. Some of them are even getting sick. Some of them are getting really depressed.
And there's a reason why some of Jacksepticeye's latest videos are him smiling there, showing trying to help people by allowing them to talk with his new therapist.
Yeah. So because YouTube is just this gigantic conglomerate, video streaming site and demands more and more, and people demand more and more, that people who once, did YouTube for fun are now just doing it. They're just trying to live, and they're just getting really, really tired from it.
Kat Luniska says, I'm not even famous and I have burnout. It's the pressure of being relevant and keeping the numbers up due to a stupid algorithm, and I'm so mad because of it, you can't relax anymore.
It's true. It is very true. You have to really, be in demand of trying to keep yourself relevant, because if you don't, your subscriber count will go down, your ratings will go down,
Christopher
everything will
McDonald
go
says, "Poor YouTubers. Try washing dishes or cleaning toilets for a living. Give me a break." Oh yeah, 8 hours a day, and it's going to be there. And if it's not going to be there, you're probably going to get some notification of that. And when you're not doing it, you're not doing it. You are off. You have off time. You get like a few days a week off. You get actual vacation time mandated by law that you got to get. You have a minimum wage. Yeah. That being a YouTuber is not a big fucking party.
It's not.
It takes effort, and the fucking way they got it set it up right now, it is just insane. And I'm a kind of I can't say I'm really happy that so many YouTubers are suffering burnout and making it public, but it's cathartic in the sense that it's getting out there a lot more, that it's fucking tough on you. It is draining. It is something that will eat away at your soul, and it's something else that you gotta mentally prepare for if you're really gonna go forward with this.
Right.
Also, another thing that people seem to overlook is that, sure, there are some jobs out there that are pretty crummy, but you also get health insurance. Or maybe sometimes you don't, but for the most part, you do. Being a YouTuber doesn't give you like the best health insurance. Sometimes you won't even get it at all. And the fact that, YouTubers have to rely on whatever video they're working on to make the money, sometimes it can be a hit, other times it won't. There might be some instances in which you work so hard on a video, but you barely get an inkling amount of views compared to something else that maybe is a lot more popular. So you have to worry about, okay, what does my audience like to see from me? How do I keep it consistent? If I try to change anything, then, oh man, it's going to be completely out of place. But if I keep it the same, maybe they'll become bored with it. So these are all the things that you have to constantly think about.
And Kat Miniska puts it well, says some YouTubers' health insurance is GoFundMe.
Yeah, it's very true. It's not even a joke.
Right.
It's true, because there's a lot of people who have to have, GoFundMe, because even if you have a regular job, health insurance doesn't even pay enough.
Right.
You get so incredibly stressed with what you're working on. And also another thing is that, sometimes with, if you work so hard on a video, again, with the YouTube algorithm, sometimes they don't give you notification. It's like, hey, we actually put out something for you to watch. Subscribe and push the bell button so you can know that we actually put something out there. And then maybe there's a chance, guess what? Copyright claim, so you won't even get a cent of your hard work.
Right.
Ken maybe says, why are so many YouTubers burnt out? Most of them, present company excluded, are lazy losers who thought they could get rich quick on YouTube, and now they realize that it's a job like every other fucking job. And those that try and use YouTube as sort of a get-rich-quick idea, I mean, there's plenty of people who want to get rich quick on YouTube, no doubt. People want to get rich quick everywhere. But on YouTube, it's just the entry point. It's tough getting the audience, getting a little bit of an audience, and then keeping it going and growing that audience, keeping it going, and all that. A lot of it also with like putting something out there and hoping that it gets noticed and what have you. It's not just that your audience responds to it. It's whether or not your audience will even see it, because the algorithm might say, hey, we're not going to send this out to your subscribers.
Yeah.
So it's all kinds of stuff. It's just, you have to keep pushing, you have to pump out so much content so fast, but you don't want it to be crappy content, or else you're going to lose your subscribers because your content's crap. So you got to put the effort in, make decent content, and pump it out fast enough for the algorithm to like you. And that's one of the reasons why gaming content took off so much on YouTube, is because it's relatively easy to make consistent gaming content.
Yes, but at the same time, it also created a massive conglomerate. It's like, oh, you're making a Let's Play channel. Yeah. What makes you stand out compared to Chugga Conroy or Game Grumps?
And
what makes you, and that too. What makes you stand out? What makes you different? Because that's all it is nowadays. I mean, even though that you may do similar content, you're always going to be compared to somebody else. You have to be a massive standout to, like, okay, you may be similar to this person, but hey, you're unique in that sense. Maybe I'll consider watching you.
Yeah, I mean, my gaming channel is okay. It's not doing fantastically, and it is what it is. It's kind of just an afterthought. It's the afterthought of my main channel. So I don't, what I sell myself of as in Let's Plays is, hi, I'm Decker Shado, and I'm playing a video game.
Sure. Okay. Well, there's not really a lot of other things to cover, but I think that for the most part, I think we could just conclude it with this. Sometimes YouTubing is hard, like really, really hard, especially if you want to stay relevant in this day and age. You have to be able to do everything that you can so you can get an inkling of, doing something that you like for a living. But I really feel bad for the people who are just suffering from like creative burnout and who are severely depressed and are stressed out. It's like, I feel really bad for them, because if they try to take a break, then people are going to be complaining about what's taking you so long. But if they don't take a break, then all of their creative juices will start flowing out, and then they'll be complaining about, oh, your old stuff was better. So
yeah, you can saying here, yeah, see, it's a job. You are saying exactly what I said. Most YouTubers think, oh, I can make a video and have it go viral. You are proving my point, Decker. So, yeah, it's the constant grind, keep going, never stop kind of thing. And if YouTube's made a tweet on their Twitter, YouTube's Twitter put out a tweet saying, hey, to semi-address the burnout issue. And it's like, hey guys, if you need a break, just take it. And like all of the comments were like, if you fucking let us, the algorithm will pretty much nuke my channel if I take a day off.
Right. All right. So bottom line, it's hard. Just letting you know that.
It's still good. I still love doing YouTube.
Yeah,
I still love being a content creator. I get to watch movies, play video games, and talk about films. And if I'm pissed off, I get to be pissed off. And that's just extra content.
Okay.
I mean, I scared some people with that video, but that's all that happened. I didn't get them saying, we're going to have to ask you to leave.
Right. But yeah, that's fine. All right. So I guess that's all we can say. There's not really much to go over, and we've already gone through this for 3 hours. So I guess we can start wrapping things up.
What we are all working on. That's the thing.
Okay.
I don't think we did that last time.
No, we didn't, but that's okay.
Okay. So I guess I'll go first.
Sure.
Next review is the Resurrection review. It's taken too long, but I'm getting things together. I got my computer at my new place, so hopefully I'll be able to get some things going there. Like, I've got so much data on my Surface that I'm struggling to put anything on it right now, but now I have all my hard drives in my computer here. Yay!
Yay!
So that's not going to be an issue, like, past today.
Okay.
So hopefully I can get that going, and that'll be in the next... It's going to take at least a few more days to get the Resurrection review out. I'm very sorry.
Okay.
But, we'll be going to the Rob Zombie Halloween movies afterwards, so looking forward to that. And on the gaming channel side, I've been uploading the live streams from Twitch onto the gaming channel lately because of the strike against the gaming channel. So, as it is, I'm just kind of... what's the words I'm looking for here? I'm streaming on my Twitch. You can find me on Twitch, Decker Shado, as I am.
Okay.
Pretty easy to pick out the channel. It's the one with me where I stream.
Okay.
And got a little bit of merch on there as well. I've been trying to get an understanding of how things work on Twitch. Twitch is a lot more complicated than YouTube. Or maybe it is as complicated, but complicated in different ways. So there's all sorts of layers. I'm trying to figure out how to be a Twitch streamer, and realize now from just streaming to YouTube and restreaming to Twitch, there's a lot of shit I didn't know. So yeah, we've got the Twitch going. I'm playing between a bunch of games, and I'm not entirely certain what I'll be playing, but I'm probably gonna try again at Shadow of the Tomb Raider, and this time not pick the go fuck yourself and die difficulty, but the second to highest difficulty. There we go. Get some checkpoints. I might actually be able to progress in the game.
Okay, cool. What do you got, Creepy?
I was going to let you go next.
Oh, well, I don't really have anything. I just put out a Mega Man podcast about a few days ago. I have Ash Paulson from Game Explain to discuss about that with me. And right now I'm just working. Yeah, thank you. And right now I'm just working on my next episode, and I'm possibly going to get a video out maybe by next month. I'm hoping. We'll see. So, how about you, Creepy? What do you got?
Well, I just put up the Scooby-Doo and the Legend of the Vampire review a couple of days ago, and I've got something in October that I think people have been wanting for a little while now.
Oh, cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
The D?
Say what?
The D?
The D?
No.
Oh.
Okay. Oh, well.
So thank you all for listening. I've been that long-haired creepy guy.
I've been Dr. Shado.
And I've been Patricia.
And remember...
Predator, why? Why?
Good night, everybody.
Good night.